So we can do what's Hondo on the mic from Leo's Paradise. Random stream drop like a Dragon Ball fight. No lie, plan stream stacking up, but here's a twist in time. Freestyling on the deck like Luffy's punchlines. Up the channels faster than Zoro sword swings. Game and pop culture, it's the chaos he brings. Talking movie reboots, superhero hype. Hondo passing the mic, now Bishop's in sight. Cutting flip screen, frame by frame, I align. Laying bass lines heavy, keep the rhythm divine. Dropping 5 videos, can't keep up with the pace. Pass the mic back, Leo's leading the chase. Off the rails, no script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life. No script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life. Off the rails, no script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life.
Welcome back to the lunch hour. How are all you vital idols doing? Do we have a hell of a show today? It's that lunch hour. It's Thursday. End of the week is almost here. Hope you guys are eating yourself some protein. Got me that green tea with absolutely zero sugar. And we got loads to talk about, man. Not only is there the Matt Walsh drama, not only has first of all, man, Asmongold dropped a potential banger video. I clicked on the first 5 seconds just to make sure it was worth covering, and that was all I needed to see. The harmful opinions video from yesterday, which did pretty good numbers, by the way, so shout out, thank all of you. Got an update today. Yeah, all in all, there is just so much going on. Also, a new Louis Rossman video. We don't react to Louis Rossman videos very much, but Serrano sent it to me, and it seems interesting. I'll be real. It seems absolutely interesting. So first thing, we gotta see who's here. Who is all up in this bitch today? We got Matt Stanford in the house. Shout out Matt. Jackass G22 is. Eagle Lord is here. Matt Stanford. I already call out Matt Stanford. Fantastically, amazingly brilliant. Jeremy Hughes review was here. Luffy John Jr. Cliff 420. El Murvoff is here. Walsh is based on many things. Pop culture isn't one. He has always been the right's biggest enemy when it comes to actual pop culture W's. War Wizard is here. Shout out War Wizard. How you doing? Sleeping Nova. What is up, my man with a plan? Pokey, the one and only. I feel like I haven't seen you in a moment. How you doing, Pokey? Matt Funcool. Matthew Watts. These dudes, so many Matts, man. Matt Funcool, Matt Stanford, Matt Watterson. Matt Watson. All the Matts, bro. We got all the Matts. Was trying to ask yesterday, but Leon, have you heard The Devil by Paul Harvey? It's a radio. Nope, I have not. I certainly have not. Levels like anime libertarians, like anime conservatives. Levels like anime libertarians, like anime conservatives, like anime. Yeah, I mean that's irrelevant. Like we'll get into it. We'll get into it because that's not gonna be the first topic of the day. That's not gonna be the first topic of the day. I was God-given name by my mom when I was born. It was a God-given name by my mother when I was born. Hey, I'm not knocking it. I ain't knocking it. My dead uncle's name is Matt. Dead uncle's name is Matt. Alrighty. Let's talk about this out the gate. Leaflet's pathetic Discord server defense. Now, funnily enough, this entire video is going after not Leaflet, but my homie Mama Akko. Hilariously, Akko hit me up yesterday. Had nothing to do with this. Like we just hadn't chatted in a while. We talked about the Leaflet stuff for all of 10 fucking minutes. And then we continued talking about a myriad of other things that were completely devoid of, like, YouTube and content creation. And we were just chilling. We were just talking. Like I said, it's been a couple months since we talked. And then I wake up to find this video talking shit on my boy Mama Akko. It's like, man, what are the odds of that? So it's time to figure out what's going down in this here town.
Which one? intro on this one, boys, but I'm sure someone in the comments will provide a timestamp if you want to see where I start looking at Leaflet's comments. Over and over, in response to my last couple of videos in comments and elsewhere, I see people very upset that I'm blaming Leaflet for this stuff that was done in her Discord. I feel there's been a misunderstanding. I said Leaflet should address it. I didn't say answer for. I didn't
Okay, if a lot of people have gone to the conclusion that you were attacking Leaflet for it specifically, then that's not a misunderstanding. It's you phrased this poorly. If I was to be charitable and give you the benefit of the doubt, by the way, if I was to be that gracious, you phrased it intentionally, maybe not intentionally, but you phrased it poorly, and people latched on to the way you phrased it. But let's be real. It seems to me out the gate like this is backpedaling. You got a lot more pushback about the Leaflet stuff than you probably did to get the Nux stuff, and now you're trying to walk it back and be like, whoa, 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 I'm not saying it's her fault, I'm not saying blame her, but she does need to address it. Really? Why? Why does she need to address it? At what point is it her obligation or her duty, considering she didn't do anything? Even in your own video, there was no accusations about Leaflet herself. Again, this sounds to me as like a backpedal to justify a double down.
say be punished for. I said it's something I'd like to see her address, as in give attention to and fix. In my first video, I showed an example of someone who says they're 14 and 15, repeatedly talking sexually with other members in a mixed age Discord, having attention drawn to them over and over and over again, and being allowed to remain. When they were finally banned, it was only because of pressure that was kept up by the people who wanted this kid gone.
And they were eventually banned. Serrano says it is Leaflet server, which is the point. It couldn't actually be phrased otherwise. Well, whether it's Leaflet server is irrelevant. The point that I'm making is homie is out here demanding it be addressed, which is the exact same bullshit mentality that we've gone to the left for so much. Just something offends me, something is annoying, whatnot. Now a person needs to address it. Now a person needs to address it. The fastest way to get somebody to not address something on the internet is to tell them what to do. So like by principle, even if harmful opinions is like objectively correct in everything that happened in that Discord, and that's a big ass if, but even if he is objectively correct about it, I would still say on principle alone, Leaflet should now address fucking nothing because it's being demanded by this Yahoo. Runaway Vagabond for a 5-banger says his titles put the blame on Leaflet Nux. They absolutely do. His titles absolutely did put the blame on Leaflet Nux. Regardless of whether it was issues that happened within their Discords that actually had nothing to do with them, the titles 100% put the blame on them.
I made the suggestion of simply banning minors. To quote myself, I said, "Your life could be a lot easier if you just nuked kids on site." This wouldn't even actually be a new policy. It would be a rollback. You can see in 2021 that they used to do this. They used to get rid of any kids they knew about. So this is originally an 18+ server that at some point they decided to open up to kids. I don't know when exactly or why, and my obvious suggestion is to go back to that. I don't think that's too crazy or evil or unfair at all. People have talked a lot about what I'm trying to do to Leaflet. What I'm trying to do is get her to do something like that. Listen to what I say in those videos.
And there it is. What I'm trying to do is get you to do the thing I want you to do. Listen to me, because I know best. Again, even if he is right, now just on principle of that's not how the internet works, the immediate stance is, fuck you, I'm going to do the opposite.
It doesn't matter if you can say, it's not my fault, if what you're doing is letting everything go to shit. That's my repeated argument. I think what I'm suggesting is quite clear. Now, many people in the comments have argued that I can't suggest Leaflet do anything about this, because she's not the owner of the server, it's nothing to do with her. And Leaflet can be seen in there saying, And mind you, I agree with the recommendation of, look, I don't allow minors on this channel, I don't allow minors on the server, the whole nine. But by the same token, when he comes at his argument from the jump, in an accusatory bad faith manner, which he absolutely did, it is a whole, it takes away nearly any of its credibility and moral high ground. Literally do not own this server, did you know that? She said that a few times, and in 2025 you can see her saying technically it's a fan server. And many people have told me her server is the Patreon one. And this is a common source of confusion. The server I've been looking at is
War Wizard for a 2-banger says this guy sounds like Spoon, so I hate him. Oh man, again, you need to go back and listen to my debate with Spoon where I absolutely crushed him for simping for Melanie Mac. Shout out for the 2-banger, homie. Thank you.
is Leaflet's official Patreon server. One of my little minions went to Leaflet's Patreon. If you buy into the £8 or the £39 tier, you will be granted Discord access and Patreon exclusive channel access. When you use the link that Patreon gives you to get that Discord access, it is this server. If it's true that she has no power over it, I think she probably shouldn't be selling people access to it and access to channels within it. Another interesting thing to note, while people point to Leaflet saying she's not the owner, and they say the mods run it, none of the comments or messages I've read say which one is the owner. Other people like Gibbs on Twitter.
Alright, so if none of the comments you've read, dictate who the owner is, make who the owner is clear, then are you going to retract the fact that in your previous videos you attacked Leaflet directly? I mean, those are pretty hefty accusations putting the blame on Leaflet, and now you're coming out and being like, hey, fair enough, maybe I don't know who the owner of the server is. If you're wanting her to change the way that things are done in the server, I mean, fair's fair, you could owe an apology. But again, I don't even think homies should do that, because I don't think people should apologize for what they do on the internet unless they actually feel like they made a mistake. And I don't think this dude would actually feel like that.
KF have done similar with other tools as well, but I used a better Discord plugin called Permissions Viewer to take a look. And it turns out that the mod who has the owner role is someone called Asari Mitsuha. Leaflet fans will certainly know who this is. For people not familiar, Leaflet's main channel isn't Leaflet, it's Leaflet and Asari. This is the other half. This is Leaflet's mother. This is who the plugin identifies as having the owner role. It also identifies Leaflet herself as having admin privileges, and she has made a unilateral stand against behavior in her server before. Regarding an
So why would he not say what he thinks should happen? I didn't say he didn't say what he thinks should happen. Saying that a bad faith way of going about demanding something will ensure someone doing the opposite on the internet. I have 100% and will continue to take the opposite arguments from people just because they demand something of me in bad faith. And make no mistake, if you watch the original videos, they were absolutely in bad faith.
Taking people saying slurs about trans people, Leaflet stepped in to say, I'll just say it myself, even though I'm not the owner of the server. While discourse is allowed and appreciated, please be chill about it. We welcome civil discussion, but we do not welcome slurs or direct personal attacks. Discussing cultural or LGBT stuff is fine, but using it as an opportunity to throw slurs around instead of facing the cultural argument itself is unacceptable, even to me. You have the freedom to say these things, but I have the freedom to not like it and to not allow it in our private community. And you can say it somewhere else because I want a place where discourse is based on the content and logic and not on personal insults. She then even says if people are too off the rails, they'll have to make more rules. My plea to Leaflet is, you also have the freedom to not allow kids. Your friends, fans, and people who just generally like you can make all the excuses they want for things that happen as a result of welcoming minors with open arms, and your mods being flakes. Would it not be better to simply not have to make excuses at all? Just a kill-on-site policy, when your users beg you to ban an underage user.
I believe that Harmful Opinion is a pretty honest person. I don't share all his views. I didn't see anything he said, which I interpret as bad faith. I haven't seen anything. I would. The entire framing of both of the videos that we went over yesterday were in bad faith. There was obvious context missing. There was obvious jokes taken as taken incredibly literally. The screenshots left out who knows what. Yes, I mean, and again, once you take into account that he pretty much admits in the opening that he made it on bad faith, he states outright, well, since you didn't do the deep dive on the Nux stuff and give me the attention I wanted, I'm going to go after you now. Here's everything I found in your Discord. His entire motivation was petty drama farming because, in his view, Leaflet didn't do what he wanted to do in terms of the Nux coverage. That is bad faith by default. Runaway Vagabond for 5-banger. The other problem is in all his videos doesn't show Leaflet and Nux do anything in the server. In my own server, I don't see shit that was posted for a week. Again, there's that as well. And he can claim that he wasn't blaming Leaflet, which, fair enough, in the context of the video, he didn't necessarily. But in the titles and in the thumbnails, which are the hooks, you do.
They ping the mods in, they see that the person said it, right-click, ban. Instead of umming and ahhing over whether the kid is posting hornily enough for that to be a problem. Just get rid. I can't make you, but given what I was shown and then what I saw myself, it would be remiss of me not to suggest it. Hopefully this clarifies things. I don't normally like to dumb it down this much, but it seems necessary in this case. Now I'm going to cover a couple other things people have said in response. A lot of people didn't like that I explained the ooh-oh post and what that means.
Well, because you didn't explain it properly. That's the thing. Again, another case of it being bad faith. Or if I'm going to be charitable, full on misinformed, then yeah, he either outright lied or was just flat out wrong about this, but presented it as a fact.
I explained because I think most people aren't familiar. So I showed this person explaining that uo is what they say when they see what lolicons call cunny, young characters.
No, no, that's not what lolly. Again, he's wrong, and I'm assuming this is intentional. And the reason I'm assuming this is intentional is because a very quick Google search will tell you what lolly is. For example, let's just do it right now. Lolly definition is a slang term derived from lolicon referring to young or youngling female characters in Japanese anime manga, often used to describe characters with childlike, cute, or immature features, sometimes in the context, sometimes in the context of sexualized imagery or erotic undertones. Derived from the Japanese term lolicon, which is a blend of Lolita and complex, primarily used in anime manga related to fan art communities to describe specific character types. Lolly has always been a character design type. Simple as that.
Young or smaller childlike characters. And they say there's no problem here because there isn't a real child involved. Now they could be lying, but they said this multiple times and were consistent. They said, alright, since I'm 13, I may be good for now anyway, Zam. I don't think it's good for adults to be hanging out with 13-year-olds doing this uo cunny shit and talking together about the cartoons they think are hot. Do you think that's fine? How many 13-year-olds do you chill with in a little chat room and discuss pictures you find sexy with? Wouldn't it be better if that wasn't happening? And a place wasn't set up for it to happen by welcoming children? But it's not just the arrangement of the server that causes problems when allowing children. Your mods are a problem too, and their issues range from lacking the capability to deal with the responsibility of running
the only mod that I think necessarily was a problem based on the context that was there was that Julio guy, because he was effectively, if true, taking payment for certain services and whatnot on Discord. Now, I just think that's wrong for a mod to be doing. Hey, I'll bend or break the rules if you pay me. I find that to be fucked up. I wouldn't want people talking like that around my kids, so I also wouldn't want that speech in an area that kids have access to. And again, regardless of whether you want that or not, is irrelevant. The entire premise of the video is that A, he doesn't understand the concept of what lolly is or what anime fans do, or either misinterprets it intentionally or unintentionally. Either way, it's wrong. And B, Discord allows 13 plus access. It's up to the community to police it as is. But also, his argument in the video, his main argument in the video was that Leaflet was wrong for using the "this falls on the parents" narrative, when she's not. That is objectively correct. If you say you wouldn't want people talking like that around your kids, great. Then as a parent, you would not allow your kids on a Discord like that. You would monitor their internet usage. That's the point.
Server that allows children.
It doesn't matter what I want because I would be taking these actions if they were on my server and what I allow. And that's true on your server. That's what I do on my. Well, to be fair, I actually leave that up to my mods on my server, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, the bulk of the criticism of this video was that Leaflet was wrong in the parents are the default arbiters of what their kids do and don't do on the internet, when she is objectively correct about that. War Wizard for a two-banger. This is condescending midwent pseudo-intellectualism. I 100% agree with that. Absolutely.
It's just brushing off someone acting the way Black was, while claiming to be 14 and then 15, but it goes all the way up to being concerning, like the mod Precure, whose address I just found. Just kidding. Precure says they like being in these videos, and I thought I'd give them a startle. Did you enjoy that? One of the people I pointed out in my first video, who I'm glad to have the scalp of, they were banned, had claimed in the server to have sent a thigh picture to a minor who had been pursuing them. They said it was to try to calm them down.
And that was retarded. And I 100% agree with, and here's the difference. I did come at this with good faith. Now, I already had my bias, and I openly admitted to my bias, but I 100% agree with him about the even fully clothed or whatever thigh pic to the minor. He was objectively correct about that.
They said it was clothed, but obviously, hell no. Right-click, ban. Someone says that in your server, they're gone. You don't need to investigate it, beyond confirming that they were making those claims. Precure Hunter, the person who banned them, argued that the adult is the one
which was an
groomed.
Absolutely retarded argument.
I left out context. I wanted to see who would instinctively jump to immediately defend this. Say it's okay, say it's a joke. Not check themselves, just, in their gut they feel like this is fine and needs to be defended. Who is like that? The answer is Mama Oko.
Kind of feel like that's just another joke right now. I've observed the server myself, because I've been in the server. I've been just sitting in there for months at this point. I never look at it. Is that just feels like another joke, my man?
As I show more examples, Mama Akko
And again, Mama Akko is a very responsible adult. Again, I've been friends with Akko for a while now. Shit, I don't even know how long. I've been friends with Akko for a hot minute. Akko is quite staunchly has certain opinions in terms of, conservative, protecting children, the whole nine. If that's the read Akko got, I wouldn't be surprised. And even if Akko's wrong, I made my stance clear, very clear on this, in fact. That, yeah, there's no possible way for children to groom adults. That's not how it fucking works. So that statement's retarded. If it is a joke, then there's also that aspect. The overall idea is that this is allowed as a 13-plus server that has content that I do not think should be allowed as such potential kids. And again, I think that argument is being made in bad faith simply because he didn't like how she handled the Nux stuff. And also, if there's nothing that is actually sexual going on, where the parents, like, this stuff is allowed in Discord. Discord is 13 plus. If it gets weird, if it gets creepy, if it gets odd, it's up to the mods. I agree, it's up to the mods. But at the end of the and it's obviously up to the server owner. The shit should be addressed. However, and this is the big thing, that's not the overall idea. You're wrong. The overall idea, which he presented multiple times, is that Leaflet's argument that this falls on the parents is the wrong argument, when it's not. Can I explain how? Watch my previous videos. I did a video on this yesterday. If you want me to explain how, because I'm not rehashing yesterday's videos. This is about this specific video right here. I explained how in the reaction I did to yesterday's videos.
it becomes increasingly certain that it's all a big joke.
What up, Mama? How you doing? Shout out. Didn't even know Mama Akko was here. I've taken a clip from this video, and I want you to guess where. It's the new 50. No way. Awesome. Well, let's find out. Let's keep going. Let's see if I can pick it out when it happens. Shout out to L Mervot for a 2-banger. This dude's a tool and a cloud chaser. And that's how his entire account comes off. His entire account comes off. And I showed this off yesterday, and I'll show it off again. His entire account comes off as doing just that. Again, Nux call-out videos, Atman call-out videos, Tettone call-out videos. He has Hassan Piker call-out videos. And now the Leaflet call-out videos. Alyssa Mercante call-out videos. And that's all well and fine, but he has built his entire... presence around calling out other YouTubers. And if that's the route you want to go, that's fine, but I find that to be the hallmark of clout chasing. Thank you for the 2-banger, homie.
Saying this to troll me. They, in fact, have counter-evidence that I suppose they're upset I didn't include. You see, they have evidence that the child was asking for it very aggressively. Someone asks Precure what they're trying to prove.
Oh my gosh. He's taking this at face value so hard. Oh my gosh. You know, chat, I'm autistic as fuck. And sometimes I can't tell when somebody's fucking with me, alright? It's happened more often than I would like to admit, alright? More often than I'd like to admit, okay? But I can tell right there that he is intentionally fucking with him. That's what he's doing.
And you remain member for 5 months. Being a call-out content creator sounds utterly exhausting. It really does. Like, don't get me wrong, I've made my fair share of videos covering other content creators and drama and whatnot. But there's also a myriad of other content on my channel. Like, if this is exclusively your bag, it just sounds... Again, aside from it being clout chasing and oftentimes bad faith for content purposes, it does sound exhausting.
Been told earlier by the chat that Precure said they were deliberately trolling for attention. He left that as a big if true instead of simply doing a 2-second search in the server he says he's in. Precure did say they wanted to get my attention and wanted to be in the video, but those posts were like this. I guess they win in the end. Their extended discussions of grooming ethics are not part of that.
I don't upload daily videos. I'm working on documentaries. Yeah, I mean, again, there's YouTubers that do that. Frankly, if I felt like I had the editing skill or whatnot, I probably would also do the same thing. But I also just like the daily content grind. The daily content grind is fun for me. It makes me feel like I'm being productive in my day-to-day job as I'm, editing, putting together these videos, doing the streams. But yeah, no, exactly. Your video content takes far longer and is far more highly edited.
Leaflet herself went on to Mama Akko's stream to defend this mod and respond to the situation in general. Leaflet talks about the Discord server not being hers.
You had already told me it's not even your server. Was it started by you, or how does that work?
I can clear it up real quick.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a server, like it's a fan server for the community. I don't get a vote in like who like moderation. I don't do any moderation on it.
Interesting. 12th of the 2nd, 2025. I don't personally get involved unless it's just an easy ban, says Leaflet. I don't normally involve myself in Discord since I don't run it, but if I catch you using slurs in a bad faith manner, I will personally send you to the Shadow
This
Realm.
doesn't negate what she said. She says she doesn't do anything with it, and now these tweets are like, okay, maybe I occasionally do something with it. Yeah, that's still an air of like, every now and again I might hop in there and do something. The two aren't mutually exclusive. Obviously, she was talking in generalities, which is how most humans talk. Like, dude is asking for an absolutely unreasonable expectation of perfection all the time when it's very obviously speaking in generalities.
30th of the 6th, 2025. Don't post needlessly edgy jokes. It can get the server in trouble. Fair enough, I do the same with Twitch chat and stuff. So I'm going to have to time them out / remove them, says Leaflet.
Like, I don't actually, like, do any enforcement action at all.
If what I showed was the last time you were doing it, that's only been true for barely over half a year.
Everything that you've shown up to this point, if I recall, has been from December, January, and February. I could be misremembering the dates. To be fair, there's been a lot of content, but everything has been the case for the last, 3-ish months. Leaflet's statement could be taken as that, but it could also be misinterpreted. I don't do anything at all, which, again, people often speak in generalities. When you say, or not just necessarily in generalities, in hyperbole, which says, I don't do anything at all. That does not necessarily literally mean at all. That's just hyperbole. I could say, I don't work out at all. It's not true. I do push-ups now and again. I do crunches or planks now and again. But in all reality, I don't have a strict workout regimen. So I don't work out at all.
In fact, the funny thing is when it comes to, like there being younger people on the server, I said, like, just nuke all of them. Like, I don't care, right? I don't care about that.
Oh, I just don't care. Haha, let it happen. Turns out, when Leaflet said it's the parents' fault, she was literally talking about her mother, the mod. This is bullshit. Grow a spine. You're happy to earn money off of it directly as your official Patreon server. You should also be happy to not let
Yes, but you can be taken either
shit
way. If it can't, how would you know if it's trying to shy away? And that, hence the reason I say this is being done in bad faith. Because while it can be taken either way, while you can look at the words and take them literally, common sense would dictate that's not how most folk speak. Most folk don't speak in absolutes and actually mean said absolutes. It is often generalities and or hyperbole. So when you're making, when you're going to come to conclusions about XYZ statement, it's probably in your best interest to take into account the fact that most humans speak in hyperbole and or generalities. Murvoth for a 5-banger. I don't want to be that guy, but will he cry if these creators dot pile on him? Dude, never prove him wrong. Just mods like who likely don't babysit. Too preachy. Well, and I'm not advocating for folk to, and I know you're not saying this, but I'm just gonna go ahead and make. I'm not advocating for folk to dot pile on harmful opinions. Dude does what he wants to do, get his bag, the whole 9. But I see these videos calling out what seems to be, again, bad faith criticism of folks that I like, some folks I consider friends, like Mama Akko, for example, and it's like this, it doesn't sit right. It doesn't sit right. Now, as to how this dude would handle it, would he end up being a hypocrite, or would he own up to it? I don't know. I don't know him like that, so I'm not going to make a judgment based on that. But I can absolutely say that based on how all this started with the Nux stuff, there is no credence that I can give him for this being good faith.
Happen on it. Getting rid of it, or actually ditching it, is also an option.
I don't really have anything to do with, like, which channels get added, or anything like that. Really.
3 days ago, your mod Crazy claimed otherwise. I don't have any control, just the authority to demand a channel stays, and the ability at any time to revoke your blessing and association. The claim that you can only make suggestions
Matt,
when
you say you think he'd make an apology video? I don't think he should. Again, I've always been a staunch advocate for people on the internet should not apologize at all, with the very rare exception of unless they themselves feel like they did something wrong. If harmful opinions doesn't feel like he did something wrong, then no, he shouldn't apologize. It doesn't make the video any better. It's still an absolute dog shit video and dog shit opinion. But the only time you should apologize is if you feel like you fucked up. Any other apology would ring hollow, and it's not going to do, much like how we were talking about the Imaru stuff a week or two ago. if it's any sort of apology or any sort of acknowledgement, it's just going to get people to dogpile on you further. They're going to continue attacking you. The people that had your back are now going to turn on you because you bend the knee. So, like one of the few times I think an apology was legitimate, when several months ago, maybe like a year ago at this point, however long ago it was, when Asmongold apologized for him going off on the Sand people, talking about the inferior culture and whatnot. And then he made his apology video on YouTube after getting banned on Twitch. He's never done something like that before, and he hasn't done something like that since. I genuinely think that he came to the conclusion to apologize, especially after, talking with his father and whatnot, that he was in the wrong. And if he was in the wrong, and he felt like he was in the wrong, it's important to acknowledge you're in the wrong, so you don't come off as having this mentality about you that you're infallible, that you're always justified, because people can fuck up. But yeah, apologies make the dogpiling worse. However, apologies should more or less be for yourself to clear your own conscience.
We have the power to force them doesn't mean anything. Leaflet then confirms that her mom owns it.
But did you start it, or people are saying that your mom actually owns it?
The reason my mom owns it is in case that it's to protect from like a crazy mom. Okay, so
Nothing to do with me, it's my mommy. Sorry, how old are you?
how do I explain this?
See, again, how old are you? That could be, again, if I'm going to be charitable, that's just an insult. If I was to take this as literally as he was taking these other posts in the Discord, I would say that's a bad faith argument, because very obviously the channel is Leaflet and Asari, which is both of them together, which would mean the mom has a part in it. Her age is not a factor. And my Serranos, I agree it's just a barb. That's not the point, because I agree with you, that's just a barb. But I could play the same shenanigans that he was playing and take it literally, as opposed to at face value that it's a barb, and it would I could play that exact same card.
There's been
Bad
a
Faith
lot
the
of
first.
drama
No
in the-
shit, that's what Bad Faith the first two, which is what this is. Oh, sorry, Cliff. My bad. You weren't calling me out. Bad faith refers to intentional dishonest act or lack of honesty and fair dealing in a transaction. It involves violating standards of sincerity, such as misleading another party. Bingo, bango, bongo, which I explained many a time was what the air I got from his previous two videos on this. Taking it literally isn't actually different. That's exactly what it's intended as. No, barbs are not to be taken literally. Insults are not necessarily to be taken. Insults are made to get a rise out of people, not to be taken literally. If I call somebody a motherfucker as an insult, I'm not literally implying that they have sex with their own mother.
Discord in the past.
Uh-huh.
And it's to protect. It's so that so my mom doesn't do anything either. Like, she doesn't do any like moderation or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't do any moderation? What did your mother mean 10 days ago when she said, banned that guy? 4 days ago, when she responded to a mod ping, that was just a meme?
It's only in case that way we can give the ownership to like a different person.
Yeah, my mom's the owner. She doesn't moderate except when she does, and she's only the owner so that she can make someone else an owner.
But in case there's like a crazy, it's like an ultimate contingency of like if the mods go out of control, we can like retake everything and give it to a different person. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. That's called being the owner of a Discord server. That's called having the final say. That's called being in charge. They chit chat and Mama Akko says he'd just ban minors,
but
to avoid.
being the owner and having the final say, I think, is also irrelevant. How many people own businesses but just had their board of directors handle everything? I get that that's not necessarily an equal analogy, because running a Discord is not the same as, a Fortune 500 multi-million-dollar conglomeration. But the point is, when you are an owner, that doesn't mean you're going to be hands-on all the time. Like some people were saying earlier in this chat, that's what mods are for.
With problems, yes, that's my videos. Correct, that's the point. Leaflet explains her server's moderation
Leon pretending to have an
culture.
open mind while watching his videos, I haven't already made up the mind would be that. Not at all. No, because, Michael, I absolutely agreed with him when he was correct. So no, it was not bad faith in the slightest. Having a bias is not the same as being bad faith. What you're saying is bad faith is objectively incorrect. I openly admitted that I had a pro-Leaflet bias, and I still agreed with harmful opinions when I think that he was objectively correct, such as when it came to that individual sending, even if it was fully clothed, thigh pics. Same as when I agree with him that the Julio character was in the wrong for basically offering rule bends and breaks for PayPal payments when it comes to the Discord. So no, my video was not in bad faith whatsoever, because even acknowledging my bias, I still agree with him at certain times. You're the moron.
I guess what I would say is the mod culture on our server is we don't ban right away. Like, we have a very, like, our policy on banning stuff. And, like, you know, you can maybe make the argument that, like, this should be a case in which, like, the person just gets automatically banned. But we are hesitant to ban people.
Sorry, we? Anyway, no, not people. You're hesitant to ban kids. I watched your mods not exactly be hesitant to Holocaust a bunch of people they were suspicious of. You guys are hesitant about certain bans.
Why?
Because of, well, it's because of reasons of people getting brigaded or like censorship or anything like that. Like, we kind of want people to be able to talk and be more comfortable.
I like to let people talk too, but what video was Mama Oko just watching before you hopped on? What was that about?
Okay.
So that might be, maybe that's a bad idea. I don't know. But
When it's someone who says they're a kid wilding out, certainly yes. Leaflet says again, you know, it's their culture, it's how it is. Mama Oko, for some indecipherable reason, finds this to be incredibly valuable information.
See, what's interesting about that is I feel like people would have found that out if they had maybe asked.
Was it that section, Mama? Is that the portion that you're using? I feel like that didn't quite go hard enough, but he did call you out directly in that moment. I'm curious.
I know, I watched it happen. My videos about that. They do be hesitating. The people coming to the UK say it's just their culture too. They see about Nicandros' tweets for a while and yap about a bunch of other stuff. They do a whole bunch of Nuxtaku sweeping. It's actually crazy. And then they get on to mentioning my video. Leaflet decides to complain about a visual gag.
which was like the thing about the I'm banning him because he's anti like pedo. Right? And so like they showed that part of it first to like seed that in your mind and then showed the context after.
It's called a joke, sweetie. Musk owns Twitter now. Comedy's legal again. If you
and let's say that I was giving the let's say that I was giving him the good grace to acknowledge that it was a joke. It still was being used, joking or not, in a way to build your argument, and that argument was again an out of context argument. Oh, you made it sound like you would tell me if I guessed it right, you bitch.
Yeah, I showed the context, dipshit. You've successfully explained the joke. If I hadn't, sure that would be a problem. But I love how that is treated like some kind of Israeli psyop. While Nuxtaku EPIing hundreds of thousands of kids is just, you know, whatever. It's me who's seeding things in people's minds.
Well,
Leaflet then
to be
tried
fair,
to argue
two
that
things can be true. Nux can be seeding things in people's minds, and so can you. Like, I don't even understand what sort of argument that's supposed to be.
Cure said was a joke.
Like that. There are a lot of them are like that. And it's kind of like he's trying to make a point that if you're like he's making a joke basically that because he's like this and then he's also talking to them, he's probably projecting. So he probably is actually a PDF, right? And then that was the whole joke.
Unfortunately, Leaflet, Precure has already addressed this, and it was not a joke. Nine, who was being silly and just showed the start of the gag, asked, "What did you mean by this?" The mod explains their whole statement. Basically, if he was super pro-ped or anti-ped, then I knew he had grooming on the mind, and wouldn't make that mistake honestly. Presumably referring to sending the picture. If he had never mentioned lollies or anything like that and he was retarded, then it's plausible that he could have made that mistake.
To be fair, I don't think him being retarded alters it one way or the other. It seems like there's a whole lot of retardation in that server, but there's a whole lot of retardation in a lot of Discord servers. Motherfuckers be living online, don't understand social norms.
Cure justifies spending time to seriously think about this. The drama was basically a necro post, and the kid had already been banned ages ago, so it's not like it was time sensitive, and I just wanted to be thorough with my options. And one of the most obvious and basic things to do whenever you are in a he said, she said, oh my god, he said, she said scenario is to at least give each side the benefit of the doubt. I understand how many statements could be taken as just a joke, not seeing it in this one. This is the mod of a server that welcomes children.
You say that though. You say you understand how a lot statements can be taken as just a joke, but you didn't give that benefit to nearly anything covered in the prior video when certain things were obvious jokes, especially to folks who are familiar with the way that people crack jokes in the anime community. We have our own certain lingo and things that would sound incredibly off the wall. And hell, like I mentioned in my video covering the situation, a lot of things that are jokes don't read as jokes in plain text. I use, again, whether it be Joe Rogan or George Carlin or Robin Williams or Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, any of these motherfuckers, take their name and face away and just put the text of what they say on a screen in isolation, and even if it is a joke, it's not going to read like a joke.
Bit of the doubt to someone who claimed they sent an image of themselves to a minor who was pursuing them sexually. Mama Akko further defends it by saying it's a shit post.
Harmful. Why do you have to act like me when I don't understand a joke? Bro, it's very obvious that this man is shit posting right now.
Leaflet elaborates and says that precure statements are old internet humor.
Yeah, we just have a lot of like stupid humor. It's like kind of old internet people. Old internet folk, and we.
A little bit later,
And again, I have no reason to doubt that. I have no reason to doubt Mama Akko or Leaflet in this regard, and not even because of my bias towards them, but because I also do a whole lot of old internet humor. Like, we have done God knows how many old internet style jokes, whether it be on these live streams, in the Discord. Yeah, you used to, there was a time on the internet when you could say some off the wall, batshit crazy things, and people knew they were just off the wall, batshit crazy things, and then these weren't your actual beliefs. He doesn't like anime at all, as far as I can tell. That's, or as far as I know. And correct, that was one of the main points of my argument in yesterday's video, Serranos, was that since he is, I don't know if he's staunchly anti-anime or he just doesn't like it, so he's not familiar with the culture. But either way, that gap in his knowledge, it dictates a lot of how he approached this, which was incorrect. And I said many times yesterday, I believe it's bad faith, but also, to be charitable, or at the very least, he's just factually incorrect. So that gap in knowledge has led to a lot of incorrect information when it comes to the way he presented the video.
And people like me are.
Like, these people are basically modern day journalists. It's not really like that surprising.
Well, they definitely try to imply a lot of things and do a lot of these things to try and paint a narrative. And
I'm being quite direct. I think that server is an inappropriate environment to welcome children into, and Leaflet's mods are inept. Maybe if you clear house and get better people to run the server, you could keep having kids in there. I wouldn't recommend it though. If you keep these people in charge though, you definitely need a policy of banning minors on site. I mean, even Precure thinks that's obvious. A little bit later, Leaflet and Mama Akko suggest I should have tried to interview everyone involved.
I just don't understand that. Like again, when I covered, I'll just like say my own shit. When I made the Cinder video, I didn't tell anybody this, but before I started working on the first Cinder video, I DM'd almost every single person involved and asked them if they wanted to talk about it. Nobody ever got back to me, sadly. But like, if I had the ability to say, hey, Shy Lily, can you answer questions about this? Or hey, Bao, I understand you're hurt about this, but can you talk about this? And if they had given me that opportunity, I would have done it. I would have done it.
Yeah.
I don't care how bad it would have made Cinder look. I would have done it because I wanted to get it right.
Well, you're trying to find the truth, right?
That's my goal,
the
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Interview is indeed a tool one can use. My coverage is of what occurred in a Discord server and whether that's acceptable or not. Interviews in this case would be of no value to me.
I completely disagree. They would 100% be of value, again, due to the fact that Homeboy clearly doesn't understand certain lingo, certain terminology, certain points of view, certain things that exist within, the anime community, or maybe he's just forgotten the before times of online early day, jokes and humor and shit posting. So yes, calling everything you see out as and taking it literally, would have done service to the interviews to know whether or not that's how said statements should have been interpreted. Do I want to talk with harmful? I would have no issue talking with harmful opinions. He was in the comments of my video when I covered the Nuck stuff. I would have literally no. I will talk to anybody, agree, disagree, the whole nine. Yeah, I would have no problem talking with harmful opinions. I don't really know what value there would be in that regard. And I'm not saying there wouldn't be any. This is something I do mean literally. I don't know what value that would bring, but I would have no issue with it whatsoever. Yeah.
and would have no bearing on what I observed. This is like a toddler's understanding of journalism. Not that I would consider what I'm doing to be journalism. If you're concerned about right to reply, the owner of...
Now, I would consider what he is doing journalism, and that's not a knock. I consider what I do journalism because they fall in line with the definition of journalism. The definition of journalism is actually very simple. And I bring this up all the time. Anyone that covers news on the internet is technically doing journalism. So the activity or profession of writing for newspapers, magazines, or news websites, or preparing news to be broadcast. Well, if you're making money doing this, then you're in the profession of it. But you don't even need to be making money because it also specifies the activity. So even if you're just doing YouTube for fun, you are doing the activity or the profession of writing or covering news to be broadcast. The videos and or live streams would be a broadcast. So anytime you are talking about or covering news on the on YouTube, you are acting in an act of journalism. So yeah, what Harmful Opinions is doing is journalism by definition. What I'm doing, journalism by definition. Now, you call them opinion pieces, fair enough, but it's still news being broadcast. So yeah.
of the server I've commented on has access to a massive platform, and I am currently presenting your response where my claims were made. If you want to actually discuss journalism, we can talk about something called doorstepping, if you'd like. But I think you'd suddenly be against getting comment from involved parties. Leaflet makes an interesting claim.
The weird thing is really what they're advocating for, and I mean, you know, maybe it is the right idea at this point. They're kind of advocating for an actual like ID system for Discord, to be honest. Like where could it go but that, if that's what you want?
This is a bizarre statement, a key part of my coverage, and in fact, the ending of my second video is advocacy against overly invasive measures, an explanation that negligence like this is what enables it to happen.
And again, I actively disagree with the way I now, again, to Harmful Opinions credit, because I am a fair dude and I give credit where it is, he is not advocating for any sort of government ID or you know, tracking or anything like that to come to the online spaces. He has been staunchly opposed to that. I do disagree that his sentiment of parents not doing their job is and saying that it should be the parents' job is what invites Big Daddy government and Big Daddy tech in to fill that vacuum, because I think that's an asinine argument. Big Daddy tech, Big Daddy government, they would be doing this regardless because they are power-hungry vultures.
Parents aren't looking after their kids.
Oh, Elmer Brother two-banger. It's easier to get context via, say, voice chat versus text. And that's my entire argument. I agree with that completely. Shout out, Murbaugh. Thank you for the 2.
And other adults aren't willing to do the bare minimum. Then, where else can we go? There is an alternative.
So, Dizzy, I will say, and I absolutely mean this, I do think Harmful Opinions is probably more intelligent than Spoon. I do think Harmful Opinions is more intelligent than Spoon. I think he's probably a biased asshole who's making these videos, again, in bad faith, but I absolutely will not insult his intelligence by saying he's half the IQ of Spoon.
You could do the bare minimum. Leaflet and Mama Oko then do exactly what I said leads to government involvement and private corporations clawing at your data.
If you don't want to hold like parents as being responsible for it, then I mean, I don't know.
If everyone kicks the can to someone else, then it's very easy for the government to step in since nobody's doing their job. That again, irrelevant. The government will want to take, will want to be the arbiter anyway. Regardless of whether someone's kicking the can down the road or not, the government will want to be the arbiter of your freedoms or privileges, as they really are, anyway. The how much people kick the can down the line is completely irrelevant. We have seen the usurping and stripping of our rights with and without the kicking of the can down the line for decades now. Decades.
How you do it other than that?
Online safety legislation is the government holding parents responsible. It is the government saying it's the parents' job and they haven't done it, therefore we get to step in. Same principle for any attacks by private companies.
Well,
And he is correct that that is the government's claim. Now, the government's not being honest in their claim, but that is their claim.
holding parents responsible is
The government wants to, but you're helping their argument when the server owners aren't protecting the kids? Nuh-uh, not at all. We're not helping the government's argument whatsoever when, again, it falls on the parents. Flat out. If parents aren't doing their job, that's part of the risk of life. That's always been part of the risk of life. All right, when we existed back in the caveman days, and some of the kids would walk off the cliff, and the parents didn't stop them. That doesn't mean that Big Daddy caveman government gets to come in and start policing cavemen to make their kids not walk off the cliff. No, instead kids walked off the cliff, and caveman people fucked and had more, better, smarter kids, and those kids didn't walk off the cliff. So no, there's nothing that is helping the government's argument, because it is a bad faith argument to begin with. That is not, when the government is arguing that this is for the protection of kids, think of the children. That is a blatant lie out the gate. You can't help someone's argument that's a lie if the argument from the beginning is disingenuous.
Definitely. It is definitely the option that I think a lot of people are like, oh, but why should the parents?
No, they should. They need to. It is wrong that they don't do that duty, but they don't do that duty.
And that's fine. Well, okay, it's not fine, but it's reality. There's going to be parents out there that don't do their fucking job. That's on them. And it is not up to anybody else to come in and fix that or alter that or change that. Or at least it's not up to Big Daddy Tech and Big Daddy Government, I should say. It is up to other individuals in the family unit. It is up to other people in the close, tight-knit community. It is not up to these invasive power structures.
So, what do you do about that? The government's answer is, we do that job instead. When people point out that parents should be doing this and they don't, they never provide a way to fix that. A little bit after that, Leaflet elaborates.
Oh,
But
yeah.
as a parent, you have the final control over everything that happens to your kid. And that's my point. When I said that, that was the point of my tweet. And it wasn't even really about the nuts thing. That the tweet was actually...
You can obviously help someone's argument even if they're making it in bad faith. But again, and here's what you're failing to understand, that is irrelevant if that's not what their argument actually is. If their argument is predicated on a lie, then helping their argument doesn't matter, because even if you didn't help their argument, they would be finding other ways to get their point across, so they would continue lying, obfuscating, omitting, whatever it may be. Helping or hindering an argument that's based on a lie doesn't matter, because the argument itself is a lie. You could scream until you're blue in the face against the lie, but it's still a lie, and people need to acknowledge said lie. The government wants any excuse to tie IDs to online speech. They're desperate. Not even just online speech. The government, and the world governments, not just the U.S., all governments want any and all opportunities to seize more power at the expense of your privileges. And I'm calling them privileges and not rights, because at this point they are not fucking rights.
completely, I wasn't even thinking about like that specific situation when I said that. It's just when I was thinking about all of the stuff that people were saying, it made me think like, man, we could solve all this if parents just actually took care of their kids.
And again, she's right. Now, that's an ideal world that'll never happen, but she's theoretically right.
Cool, Leaflet. How do you make that happen? If you do not provide an answer after saying that, your position is actually, let it happen. If your position is that bad things are happening and parents should stop it, and you stop there, you are making an excuse. Also, I personally don't...
That's not an excuse. That's an acknowledgement of reality. It is an acknowledgement of reality. I can't... when you want to sit there and blame people whose opinions are, parents should be doing this, no, objectively, yes, parents should be doing this. Some and or many parents aren't. That doesn't mean that you're making an argument for Big Daddy government to come in and step in. What you're just stating is that it is reality that parents don't do this in certain instances.
Don't want to be surrounded by nonces, even if there aren't any kids around. I think that's a problem. How does parental supervision solve that? Leaflet then seethes about Nicandros for an extended period of time, and having complained that I didn't ask to talk to people, she complains that Nicandros asked to talk to her. Make it make sense. She then continues to seethe that people are asking her about the Nux stuff.
Because when I said that parents should be responsible, I never said solely responsible.
That's true of that one tweet, but she's been talking about this for quite a while. In her commentary on what happens to kids online and whose responsibility it is, and why restrictions are being put in place, she has in fact said,
Like, dude, this is all the fault of people not taking care of their kids. This is freaking ridiculous. If you fuck up your kids, that shouldn't be my problem.
They yap for a while, and
Correct.
Mama Oko says,
What we're asking for is for parents to do more than what we see that they are doing, because parents are just literally handing technology to a kid and saying, go wild.
and how would she make that happen? She never, ever suggests anything. I don't have an answer for that either. That's why I talk about what can be done instead. The government has an answer to this request too. It's legislation. These people love to complain about that happening.
Right. And that's a bad answer. I'll grant that it's an answer, but it's a bad answer.
While literally asking for it. Solve this. Solve this. This needs to be solved. They're doing it. Later, Leaflet talks about the people who are talking about her.
And see, this is my dilemma now, right? My dilemma is, do I do nothing so that they seethe, or do I farm them for content?
Allow me to present option C.
This isn't true, by the way. I did offer solutions. Punish parents. Educate them. And so, wait. Did he omit that from the video? Like, does he not bring that up at all, Akko? Did he omit that you didn't offer any solutions? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case.
Enact a policy of banning minors from your Discord on site, or get better mods.
I kind of feel like just not giving them what they want is probably better.
I want you to instruct your mods to ban minors on site, or get better mods. Why wouldn't you do that?
At this point, to spite you. Which I'm A-okay with. This is going to sound harsh, but I am. To spite you. Because of the way in which you brought this matter forth. Because here's the dealio. Whether you like it or not, optics matter. You catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar. And when you come out spewing vinegar, people are going to take the opposite approach just to spite you. Absolutely. And you punish parents that let it happen. I don't know if it was before this interview or not, but I suggested parents need education about the internet. This is a good response. They punish. I actually do disagree with that, Akko. That parents need better education about the internet. Like, the people that are having kids now are the millennials. We've grown up online effectively our entire lives. We're educated on the internet. We're, by and large, lazy about how it's handled. So I agree with you about the punishment aspect. And there should be actions and steps taken to punish the parents for not doing their job in terms of protecting their children on the internet. But as far as the education goes, no, I think that's mostly a laziness thing. I mostly agree with punishing parents. I just don't know how we could properly go about it. I don't know. Millennials still had tech to kids. I didn't like they have zero. Wait, still. Oh, well, no. Again, yeah, they still hand tech to kids, acting like they have zero idea what will happen, and that's the key distinction. Acting like they have zero idea what will happen. They know what will happen if they don't monitor it properly. They act like they don't because that's easier.
Own me and people like me seems insane. But okay, if you wanted that to happen, you could make it happen.
Why would I argue with them? Why would I entertain any of their arguments? Why would I watch their thing when...
Because weird shit happens with kids in your Discord, and your mods don't deal with it properly until they're forced.
It's so clear what they want.
I want you to ban minors or at least get better mods. I don't know how much clearer I can be. I thought it was pretty obvious from the last two videos. I'm not being presumptuous. This is a stream where Mama Okko just watched them. They talk about sitting down and having conversations with people, and Leaflet says...
Yeah, I mean, that's how you actually solve problems, right? Like, is it about solving our problems, solving our differences, or is it about getting, like, some kind of, I don't know, community to pat you on the back?
It's actually about getting you to fix your shit, because someone told me about it and it's all f***ed up. If I've messed up and I've missed something like this happening on my stuff, I would want to know so I could break the legs of everyone involved.
Okay, but don't for a moment pretend that how you were approached about it would not influence your decision, the way you handle it, the way you react to it, the whole nine. Like again, you catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar. So you could say all you want. You would want to be told about it. I would too. I agree. I would absolutely want someone to be. I would want to be told about it. What I wouldn't want is somebody making a video saying, "Yo, so this dumb fuck Leon guy." Like, okay, well, out the gate, opinion discarded.
Metaphorically, of course. A little while after, Leaflet expresses her sorrow at the change in the kind of person she has to deal with.
Because like a year ago, I was definitely a lot more willing to talk to people, and I was a lot more willing to like engage with, these kind of bad faith people.
If I'm making these suggestions and pointing these things out in bad faith, it doesn't change whether my suggestions are good or not, does it? Why?
And bingo, bango, bongo. That's exactly what... See? And y'all said that I was... Well, not y'all. very a minority of you guys, said that I wasn't being charitable. Yes, I've acknowledged many times that he can be objectively correct. The solutions, the opinions can be correct solutions, but the manner in which they are suggested will play a role, including whether or not he comes at this in bad faith.
Why does she not want to make things better? In the words of Shia LaBeouf, just do it. That does mean I win. And I'm doing this for Hassan Piker, so that means Hassan Piker wins. But why isn't it the right thing to do?
They're not trying to communicate. They're not trying to like have an honest conversation. They just want to hurt you for their benefit.
Yeah.
I want you to fucking ban kids or get better mods. If that hurts you, something's really wrong. You don't even have to say it's 18 plus. You just have to enforce it. When you say it's 18 plus, it can give the impression that certain things are allowed that aren't. And the little retards will out themselves thinking it's okay to, and then you just bop them. There you go. There's one way to do it.
I guess moving forward here with the Discord, my only thing would just be to be like, listen, there's minors in there. You probably should just cheat them.
What the fuck?
It's not my server, so obviously, and it's not your server, I guess. So, you know, they can do whatever they want. But I would just suggest, to avoid future videos like this, just get rid of them.
That's what I said.
Yes, but notice how Akko said it in a much more amicable, palatable fashion. Because for the third fucking time, you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. Doing a hate brigade video when your entire channel is based around culture. You wonder why people wouldn't respect that or take it seriously or think that it's in any way, shape, or form good faith. Because if Mama Akko had made this exact same, had used the same content, been like, hey man, stuff that's in the Discord seems a little weird. You know, I don't know the context behind it completely. There could be some jokes in here, but just as a general rule or precaution, maybe going forward, it's better to ban some minors, not let them in there. Again, that's a whole lot more amicable, which will affect people's sensibilities in a way that they are more likely to listen to you.
Look at it. Your life could be a lot easier if you just nuked kids on site. I'm going insane. Yes, this is the whole point of what I'm saying.
What we're considering is
I'm not familiar with this Gamergate days, which is crazy because I was there during OG Gamergate and I was watching all sorts of content creators. Was he still called Harmful Opinions back then? I may have watched him and not known it was him, to be fair.
like something along the lines of you either have to be on Patreon.
Patreon's a 13 plus site, and age gate is applied to 18 plus creators. But if you're not in that category, your solution is to get more money and still allow kids. It's 2026. Minors have debit cards.
Do they? Like, yeah, they do. This is true. Yeah, minors do have debit cards because they've got, like, the 13-year-old bank accounts that are super limited and stuff. I've seen advertisements for those. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Minors do have debit cards.
Or you get, like, a really expensive channel point reward, and that, like, actually gets you access to the server.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that would be the...
Okay, so if he handled the Monday Matt crash out, I'm sure I saw that then, because the Monday Matt crash out was legendary.
Play, like,
That'll help with ban evasion. It won't help you with the kid stuff.
I don't know. But in the end, I'm going to talk to...
No, so with a parent, yes, but I don't think it's 16, Draconic. There are apps and services and whatnot out there that basically allow child-friendly bank accounts. I think he is correct about that.
I'm going to talk to, Julio and Precure Hunter and Crazy and probably just ask, them what they want to do with it.
I know what Precure Hunter wants. Get rid of minors on site. I am genuinely losing it. They then have an extended discussion about stuff that won't really help that much with their problem, and Leaflet gives a life lesson about how people make mistakes.
People will make mistakes when it comes to things like, is that like a complete indictment of their character that like, oh yeah, they love pedophilia because they made a mistake on their Discord? Like, I don't really think that's even remotely fair.
I just want you to fix your shit.
No, I would agree. I think, unfortunately, these days people are just so apt to quickly making snap choices. And again, I think it would be solved if people did more talking instead of just more being ready to poke and prod.
Lynching.
Lynching, yes. Lynching, definitely.
Yeah, I got that person who said they sent a minor thigh pics in your Discord lynched. That's sick, and I'm proud of it. Leaflet then talks about...
Yo, what up, Hypno? How you doing, homie? You guys know the drill. Hypno emotes in the chat.
Leaving it up to the mods.
Yeah, I mean, it's really up to how they want to do it. Like, I'll ask them, like, what they want to do.
Harmful Opinions message is good. His delivery is shit. It comes off as extremely combative and smarmy. I would double down. And you prove my point, homie. Matty boy, you prove my point, because I would do the same fucking thing. Same fucking thing. In fact, I have, in many instances, done the same fucking thing. You come to me, and your manner is accusatory, smarmy, optically bad faith. I'm gonna do the opposite just to fucking spite you. 100%.
I can give suggestions, obviously, but
You can also lay down the law. You've done it before. When people were saying the word troons, you stepped in. I showed it earlier. Just do it again now. In my first video, I called you spineless. I stand by that.
everybody's kind of flying by the seat of their pants. They're learning as they go.
Leaflet, as I showed earlier, your server originally banned minors. You went backwards. You do that and or deal with your mods. I'm just gonna say, nice. What I've seen going on in your stuff is insane. And we'll get back to that in a bit, actually.
And
Mind you, I don't inherently think that it's backwards to allow minors in your server. You just have to have an incredibly curated, safe server. Like, because when you're covering culture war stuff, and when you're doing like anti-trans or anti-LGBT agenda, anti-leftist stuff, it's actually, in theory, not a bad idea to have minors in there so that they're being indoctrinated into these base mindsets as opposed to being indoctrinated by these leftists that control the education system and control the news media outlet and things to that effect. But if you're going to have a server that allows minors, then yeah, it absolutely has to be incredibly curated. Again, I still stand by this issue being kind of a nothing burger, because while weirdness seemed to go on, if we're taking it at face value, it was nothing really that big, minus one's weirdo kid that did eventually get banned.
I think these people, they have no grace. They expect absolute perfection from everybody, and that's not realistic to how people are.
I don't personally consider expecting mods, when they're alerted, to get rid of someone who says they're a kid and talking about fertile femboys and breeding to be perfection. What the f are you trying to pull?
Maybe they'll grow up one day and learn that.
Hey, you'll have a lot more grown-ups around you if you ban kids.
I'm used to being the least mature person in the room.
Believable. Hang on, maybe Leaflet does need to be destroyed. Anyway.
It's kind of such a weird shift to like everybody around me is being like a freaking child.
Yeah, because you welcome them to your Discord server, and your mods won't take appropriate action unless pressed. A little bit later, Mama Akko says something good.
Moving forward, somebody said,
Okay, by the way, this music is Carl Casey and it's copyrighted behind the license. Ah, well, that's gay as fuck. Oh well. I'll just use the YouTube edit function to get it out afterwards if I get hit for it. Appreciate you, though.
says they're 15. I personally just wouldn't give them any quarter.
Yeah, good.
I mean, I feel I'm not perfect.
Sure, my first video was about this shit happening repeatedly with mods being pinged. I'm not perfect either. Maybe I fucked up somewhere. I want to know so I can fix it. But I've decided to be a public figure, small as I am. So if someone wants to point that out with a video, and especially if they want to point out because they've seen there's resistance to doing the right thing, and they want to force it, fair enough. First example I gave in my first video about an interaction I found unacceptable, I literally said maybe mods didn't know about it, but it's still a problem because the server is set up to facilitate it. I don't think that's too crazy.
I would hope that if somebody sees somebody claiming to be a minor, they would ping me in my mod chat.
Great. And Mama Akko, from what I watched, was generally on board when I made suggestions along these lines. Ish. Mama.
Yeah, but it also seems like, and Mama, since you're in the chat, you can let me know. Even if you were behind what he's saying in theory, it seems like you also came to the same conclusion that this shit was done in bad faith, which is the entire crux of my argument.
Akko knows what's right, but he's a pussy.
That must be the part that you've clipped. Just Mama Akko knows what's right. That has to be what you clipped just to use. Just that one statement. Mama Akko knows what's right. If that's what you clipped, based as fuck.
He wants to keep his bridges safe. He's going to be soft, even when he knows what's right and wrong. That is gross. If someone's going to drop you because you don't just go, what's right, he's a pussy. He wants to keep his bridges safe. He's going to be soft, even when he knows what's right and wrong. That is gross. If someone...
Wait, rewind 5 seconds and start over. All right, hold on. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back like 20. I'm just going to... Hold on. All right, we're going to start here.
somebody claiming to be a minor, they would ping me in my mod chat.
Great. And Mama Oko, from what I watched, was generally on board when I made suggestions along these lines-ish. Mama Oko knows what's right, but he's a pussy. He wants to keep his bridges safe. He's going to be soft, even when he knows what's right and wrong. That is gross. If someone's going to drop you because you don't just go, well, you know, it's not up to me, it's not up to you, why do you want to be connected to that person? You talk about other people being clout goblins. Look in the mirror.
Yeah, I'm fine with
Maybe I'm just retarded. Oh, you clipped the whole thing? Okay, gotcha. Clip the whole thing. That checks out.
I'm fine with Operation Hazel Nutella and just nuking all of the minors off the server. I'm like,
And by the way, I completely disagree with the sentiment. He's like, oh, why would you want to be around these people? Well, because again, if you're having good faith conversations, you don't necessarily have to agree. That's not clout chase. Like maintaining friendships over simple disagreements is not clout chasing.
totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Personally.
Then do it. You did it for trans people. You can do it for kids.
No, yeah.
But it's really up to, you know, again, it's up to what they want to do, how they want to handle it. They have their own ideas for how things should go.
Hello, Earth to Leaflet. Here's Precure. She then says,
And if I could tell them what to do, then it would actually be my Discord, right?
little problem there. We've seen you making decisions. And your mod Crazy, 3 days ago, claimed that you go above their head to make decisions.
All right, so again, it's he said, she said. Like, this mod saying it's not my decision. It's Leaf's saying it isn't her decision. I'm not going to take one side or the other on that one because that's the point of it. He said, she said. You don't actually know.
You are not as hands-off as you pretend to be. And they then wrap up. Now, there's been a lot of talk about getting rid of minors or not. And that distracts from another issue I alluded to earlier. Precure's suggestion to ban on-site for minors is good, but if you don't do that, Precure is a problem. You say it's jokes. You say it's bait for me. I don't buy it. This person cannot be a mod in a server that welcomes kids. Let's talk about Precure's actually it's about ethics and grooming. An adult got groomed by a minor because he was too retarded to listen to people when they told him to just block the minor, asks Norlax. Precure responds with a nodding gif. We have posts by the minor in this chat of the
If he is responding with a nodding gif, that absolutely does sound like trolling. Now again, I had plenty of criticisms for Precure when I did my coverage of the video. But that does, just a nodding gif, sound like trolling. Absolutely. I respond to dumbass comments with trolls, with troll gifs all the time.
them being sexually aggressive unprompted. They share a post by the person who said they were 14 and then 15. This is from the minor, soliciting the adult. And that was less than a month since the minor had joined the server. Not seeing the joke, can you explain it? I think it's kind of weird as well, but...
Okay. If you're not seeing the joke, it's that being edgy on the internet for the sake of being edgy on the internet is fun/funny. It's that simple. Again, if we were to give Precure Hunter the charity of believing that's a joke, that would be what the joke is. Being edgy on the internet's fun.
But the adult was pathetic enough and the minor pushy enough that it's not unbelievable. Prowls Madras steps in to say, I think the important things to notice here are minor and adult. Only one of those can really be at fault here. Minor can do wrong, of course, but just ban and move on then. The mod says, their ages aren't actually that different. It's like 14 versus early 20s. Yeah, legally it would be the adult's fault, no matter what, but morally, they both seem to be at fault.
And if this is, and if Precure Hunter is making this argument in, like, if they actually believe this and this isn't trolling, which, to be fair, it does seem like in this context, I would actually read this as them not trolling. Yeah, that's fucked up. Like, if any mod needs to be addressed, I do think it's this one, because this is some fucking weird-ass mentality.
Prowls Madras responds to the no matter what message and says, exactly, you can do what you want, but I would suggest that you stop painting the minor as the aggressor here, even if it's true. Phew. The only one who can truly be at fault here is the adult, and that's that. It doesn't look good when you talk about the minor being the baddie. I can only speak for myself, though. Why can't anyone have any conviction? It's sad. Precure Hunter says,
I wouldn't say that that's not having conviction. That's an objective statement. It's like, these are my beliefs. I can only speak for my own beliefs. It's not having, that's the opposite. It is having conviction. You're speaking for your beliefs.
I care more about the truth than the law. Prazel Madras responds, I can understand that, I'm just saying it doesn't look great. I understand that the minor must have been a creep and definitely did wrong, but putting any focus on the actions of the minor does not look great. That's all I'm saying.
And
Later,
I would
my
agree with that sentiment. I would agree with that sentiment, absolutely.
video is uploaded, and Precure talks about the situation so far to some.
Nuck says some Discord drama is apparently related to child grooming. Don't know much about it. It's irrelevant. It was almost a decade ago. Leaflet deliberately decided not to engage with the drama, which I think was a completely fair and fine call on Leaflet's side. This angered people on Twitter and elsewhere. X. Leaflet kept doubling down that she's allowed to not have an opinion. True. It's most likely overstated in bad faith that she doesn't need to watch the video. They targeted this Discord server looking for dirt on Leaflet. Also true. The best I can do so far is a situation where the 15th Watcher sent clothed thigh pics to a teenager at the behest of the teenager, which was wrong for 15th Watcher to do. During that, Julio was overly conservative about banning the teenager. This was all presented in a Harmful Opinions video. All this is true, and Julio was absolutely in the wrong if the events depicted in the video are as the way they were laid out. I give Harmful credits there. I watched the video, looked into it, found the situation to be less clear-cut than people were making it out to be. Even from his video, it seemed less clear-cut than it was making it out to be, so I actually do agree with that sentiment. I eventually banned 15th Watcher because the preponderance of evidence was that we wouldn't want him here if I couldn't verify precisely what happened. Probably a fair statement. Harmful Opinions made a second video about my logic not being good enough because I said that it's possible the adult was groomed by the teenager. Harmful Opinions was correct there. People from Kiwi forums also got interested and are talking about it in Nux's thread. I have no opinion on that. I've not seen it.
Who wants a quick rundown. Within that, they say that in my second video, I'm talking about their logic not being good enough because they said it's possible that the adult was groomed by the teenager. They say they banned 15th Watcher on the basis of a preponderance of evidence. You should have banned them because there is a message from them saying they sent a minor their thigh, clothed as it was, because the minor was pursuing them.
Would that not be the evidence? Again, yeah, that's clearly what was meant there contextually.
No need for weighting probabilities or legal jargon. You say that, you get whacked. Maybe it didn't happen. Maybe the pic wasn't that bad. No, you ban them. And they elaborate, stating the real problem with someone like me. The real overarching problem here, though, is that people don't like dealing with people who are undecided or entertaining unorthodox positions. Like, it's obviously inflammatory to think that the child was grooming the adult, and if you by definition think that it can only go the other way, then you'll bristle strongly at the mere suggestion of that.
And rightfully so. And rightfully so. Procure Hunter is absolutely wrong here. Only adults can groom children. That is a statement of fact. Only adults can groom children. The idea of bringing it up in the opposite direction, unless it's being done for some sort of joke or troll, if this is something that's an actual belief that you might have, is just like flagrantly wrong. At the very least, wrong. I mean, it's frankly it's a lot worse than wrong. It is a failing of your moral compass to the nth degree. So yeah, like that's one of the main. This is one of the very few times where I am actually 100% in agreement with Harmful Opinions.
They're memeing, yeah? This is just a meme, yeah? Haha, 4 chains. Then they explain the reason for ban that I showed you earlier. Kitty Des amongst that.
If it was a PG-13 server, how the heck is Julio in the wrong? Because Dizzy the Lizzie, Julio. I'm not. So Julio. The reason Julio was in the wrong, what made Julio in the wrong, in my opinion, was that Julio was willing to bend and/or break rules for payment. That is the part that's wrong. Not the actual decisions that were made or weren't made. I really couldn't care less about that unless there's actually like legal issues. But the willingness to bend or break rules for payment, that's what's wrong.
You think the
and I agree with Serrano. If the child was encouraging illegal activity, you have to ban some of that. Correct. And while it's not technically illegal to send I can't believe I have to say this, and it's going to sound gross, so hear me out. While it is not technically illegal to send a picture of yourself to a minor if you're, like, fully clothed and whatnot, it's still fucking creepy and should be nuked. Absolutely. Absolutely. They're all responsible for their actions and intents. Was he really willing, or was it just another joke? That one seemed legit because there was a bunch of posts that he had sourced that Julio had done that in the past. So, that's one of the few times where I think that Harmful Opinions did get it correct. Now, if it was a troll, fair enough. If it was a troll, hey, fair enough. But if you as a mod are willing to break the rules of the Discord for payment, then that is a failing at the job of being a mod. If it was something faking being a child, which I think they were, this is much worse. Yeah, there's also that. Plenty of kids do crimes knowing they will get in less trouble or be able to pin on. That doesn't matter. That is completely irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, in the case of grooming, as we have been talking about, children cannot, in any definition of the word, groom adults. They cannot.
Underaged aren't the ones who are uncontrollably horny. You gotta pry them off each other with crowbars. Sure, teens are hormonal, but we're talking about moderating a Discord server where minors and adults interact. Precure responds and explains that their comment about age was not a joke. Yeah, that too. That's why I said it's not like it's an 8-year-old comment. If you're sending pics to an 8-year-old, then obviously it's grooming.
Okay. If you're doing it to a 14-year-old, it's again. I don't think that the adult was grooming the 15-year-old. I think they just made a very stupid decision, but it's a decision that is stupid enough to warrant a ban.
If you're sending it to a horny teenager that specifically requested them, that's less obvious.
It's not less obvious. I mean, you could make the argument whether it's less obvious or not that it's grooming, but that's irrelevant. It's still a massive fuck up for just potential legal reasons, and no risk should be taken.
It was literally just about how plausible each story would be. Prazel says, but again still a minor, and Precure responds, of course, but if you have identical moral considerations for a 15-year-old and an 8-year-old simply because they're both underage...
Wrong. You should absolutely have the same moral considerations for a 15-year-old and 8-year-old. Unequivocally. When it comes to sexual safety online, absolutely you should have the same moral considerations for a 15-year-old and an 8-year-old. 100%.
You're living in a fantasy world that doesn't actually exist. We're talking about banning someone from Discord for being a creep. You don't have to measure which fraction of a ban you give them. Just hit them. No need to hesitate or wrestle with the philosophy of grooming. You nailed them eventually, but you were struggling. People chit-chat and the Precure ends up talking about the problems with the age of consent in general.
Which is never, even if you are correct in your argument, like in a biological fashion, that's never a good argument to make. Like, Sneeko tried making this argument one time, and he was technically biologically correct, but it's still fucked up and disgusting and not an argument that should be being made.
Very epic Reddit chungus, my dude. This person cannot be a moderator on a server that welcomes kids. How the fuck is that controversial?
Yeah, so that's that. Once again, this is a video that... Now, I will say, the latter half of this video was actually a lot better. Here's the link in the chat, by the way. I will say the latter part of the video, when he's not talking about Akko and Leaflet, he does make a whole lot better points. Because he's talking about actions of individuals that are, at least comparatively, a whole lot more clear-cut. The actions or inactions, whatever you want to call it, of Leaflet, I think is completely fine and justifiable. There is still a lot of leeway there. There's still a lot of information that is contextually broad, if I'm being generous. I also think that him continuously doubling and tripling down on the, like, I'm just asking you to do this. I'm just asking you to do this. Well, again, that's not how you made it sound in the initial videos. So you're backpedaling just so you can double down. Wrong gut. That was Nick Andros. No, these videos were about a situation that arose inside. Serranos was answering you. Think getting money from the kid's parents' credit card was the right thing to do. It will be an important lesson. That is fucking retarded. That is absolutely retarded. A mod taking money from anyone to bend or break rules is a direct contradiction to your duties as a mod. Whether it be in someone's YouTube live chat, or whether it be in someone's Discord. Serranos right here is one of my mods. Serranos is one of my mods. I have a no minors rule in this chat. I have an absolutely zero minors rule in this chat. That's one of the only things I will ever have in terms of my, like, because it will go against my free speech rule. Because generally, this is a absolutist free speech channel. I don't care if you agree with me. I don't care if you come in and say, now, if you drop in like N-bombs and whatnot in the chat with the hard R and you can get my channel taken down, okay, yeah, we gonna have some issues. But by and large, I am mostly say whatever, have whatever opinions. I don't care. I've had, troons come in here and say a bunch of ridiculous shit. I've had people come in these in these streams when I'm covering the political stuff and advocating for why the murder of Charlie Kirk was justifiable. I find it morally abhorrent. I allow them to have those comments and say those things because I do believe in free speech. So one of the very few things that I ardently am against and will require a ban on site is if you're a minor. So back to what I was referring to, Serranos is one of my mods. If I say, yo, that dude's a minor, ban him, and Serranos has slipped a 20 from that minor or from someone else to not ban him, Serranos would be doing a direct dereliction of his duty as a mod, and I would remove that title from him instantly and strip that position from him. Because mods are a position of power. They're supposed to assist in the efficiency and optimal running of these streams, of these discords, bar none. So yes, regardless of your argument that, oh, well, that, a child using the parent's credit card could be a good lesson, doesn't matter. The problem is with any mod that would be willing to, bend or break rules for payment. Junebug loves you for a 10-banger. Base Leon Pro free speech awesomeness. Shout out to you, homie. Appreciate you. You absolute legend. This is for you.
Call it whatever, but if I made $1 for each time I made a racist joke, I would actually have $0. 'Cause I'm not joking.
Based? Based? Hello?
I understand your stance, but none was harmed, and the parents deserve to have their. It does not matter. I don't get what you're not getting about this. I truly think you may have been dropped on your fucking head. Regardless of whether someone was harmed is irrelevant. If a mod that I picked out to be a mod to do a certain job doesn't do their fucking job, they don't get to be a mod anymore. That simple. It is up to me, as the person that gave somebody mod duty, to make the decision as to whether or not they are allowed to keep that privilege. And as such, that privilege, it comes with a set of rules. If you are willing to bend and break rules for your own financial gain, then you don't deserve mod power. Full stop. Elmer Love with the 2 bangers says, here's 2. You can remove Kada now. Yeah, fuck that little guy. It's against TOS as well. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. Yeah. The taking money to break rules is literally what most of us have a problem with in the judicial. Bingo, bango, bongo. Matt is exactly correct. The rules for thee, but not for me, the things that apply to rich people being able to get away with any and all sorts of manner of crime simply because they have money. You're just advocating for that same thing on a smaller scale. Had Julio been a Jeet instead of a wetbat, these parents would now have 0 on their card. That... Dizzy, steelman my argument. Steelman my argument, Dizzy. I'm curious if you're even able to do that. Steelman my argument. Just beat Tormented Souls. Dude, Tormented Souls is so good. I need to play the sequel. I just haven't played it yet. Tormented Souls is so good. And trust. Once it's gone. Yeah, exactly. It is a matter of trust. Absolutely. I'm waiting for Dizzy to steelman my argument. Because what you're saying thus far is irrelevant. Do you even know what steelmanning an argument is? I'll explain it simply for you. Steelmanning an argument means repeat my position back to me. My position. So you repeat my position back to me so that I am confident that you understand said position. I'll wait. Where the fuck did Jeet versus Wetback come from? They're trying to make the argument that it would be a learning lesson because a Jeet would steal all their money because it would be a scam. That's the argument they're trying to make, which, again, is irrelevant. The entire onus of the first Leaflet video is that Nux is bad, so let me go SS on things that happen in your Discord. Yes, correct. That is exactly what happened, Sunshell. Ebonics Kang with a 5-banger says, wait, I can't say insert Bubbles word. Blasphemy. As long as you say it without the hard R. You're black. You can probably get away with it. Shout out Ebonics Kang. Thank you for the 5-banger. I haven't finished the game yet. It's been a long while. Talking about Tormented Souls. Dude, you gotta finish it. Tormented Souls is so good. So good. I'll give Dizzy another minute or so to steelman my position. And if not, we're moving on. Remember the Hypertrain drama of Pirate Software and Chronos? I have no idea what that even is. I'm gonna be real. I have no idea what that even is. Tail end of the third video is pretty much the only time the guy was on track and not just seething. I completely agree, Scooter Puff. I completely agree. It took 3 videos, and it was maybe the last 5 to 7 minutes of the third video, but he finally said something that was of some sort of value. Or at least worth discussion. Absolutely agree. Alright, we're moving on. Seems like Disney's not going to be able to steelman my argument, so we're moving on. So we're going to do a little bit more with the Leaflet stuff, but in a completely different fashion. Okay, hold on. I fully understand your position and applaud your moral fiber, but on this, but long term, this action was more beneficial than harmful, as you said, it's irrelevant. Right. So if you understand my position, which I don't know that you do because you didn't steelman as I asked, but I'll give the benefit of the doubt, then that's the entire question stemmed from why was Julio wrong? Anything else you're arguing is irrelevant and shouldn't have even been brought up because the question to contend with the argument was why was Julio wrong? No, you did not do it right. You said you understand my position. Steelmanning the argument would be restating my position, but it's fine. I'll grant that you understand it. So the question was, why was Julio wrong? Now, the argument for why Julio was wrong to take money, to take payment, to bend rules, is because that is a dereliction of duty from mods. Any argument you can come up with as to why, why it could be a good lesson doesn't negate why Julio would be wrong. You could technically, in the most technical sense, be correct in that it is a good lesson, but that does not negate the argument that Julio, as a mod, would be in the wrong for taking money to obfuscate actions of his mod duties. So your inability to contend with the argument is what makes you incorrect in this instance. But we are moving on. We're moving on because we got more to cover. We're going to talk about the Matt Walsh stuff. We talked about the Matt Walsh stuff a little bit on Monday, but I want to go full deep dive in it here. So yeah, Leaflet says this is retarded. Let's go.
He crashed out over anime and got cooked. Wait, what is this?
Hey, what's up, guys? Rev here.
By Rev.
So today we're going to be looking at yet another example
Leaflet, what is this trash-ass audio? You are better than this. What the fuck?
of a cultural or political movement
there
that's
you
being derailed by a weird hyperfixation on a complete non-issue. In this case, it is anime. We're seeing a political pundit going out there and trying to...
I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I much prefer Leaflet's coverage and stuff like this to Rev's. Like, I react to Rev now and again, and I don't have any, like, dislike towards Rev or anything. I don't know the guy. I find the way he covers a lot of this stuff to be kind of basic.
Demonize and also attack anyone who enjoys the medium of anime, and it's a complete losing issue. Now, the person in question is Matt Walsh. He is a conservative figurehead. I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware of him, and whether you like the guy or not, he has a very big issue with anime. Now, I will say, back in 2024, I saw his movie, Am I Racist?
I did too, and it was good. Like, I got a lot of criticisms from Matt Walsh, dude. I have a lot of criticisms from Matt Walsh. In nearly any pop culture aspect, I find him to be fucking insufferable. But I saw Am I Racist in theaters, and it was a blast. I also got called gay as fuck by my boy Hypno, which by the way, what did Hypno say earlier? He said he grew me into something. Hold on, let me scroll up. I grew Leon into being a Tormented Souls fan. He did. He absolutely did. He also called me gay for what I wore to go see, this movie. Where is it? Where's the Am I Racist picture? Here it is. Is this a gay shirt, chat? Is this a gay I fucking love this shirt. Is this a gay shirt? Hypno called me gay. In fact, everybody called me gay for wearing this to see Am I Racist. This is an awesome shirt, guys. I will not take slander for this dope-ass shirt. Fuck all y'all. Fuck all y'all in the chat right now. Thank you, Cliff. Cliff420 gets it. The shirt is sick. Exactly. Fuck you, Hypno. I love this shirt. It's not gay. Very hippie. Hey, that's fair. Look, I wear my fair share of hippy-dippy clothes. I do. I like me some hippy-dippy clothing fashion, man. Like, I love these pants. These pants are hippie as fuck. I love these pants. Y'all out here bagging on clothes. I commented his shirt yesterday, but this one, that's true. Hypno did comment my shirt yesterday. War Wizard for a 2-banger says Hypno is 100% correct. All right. We're moving on. We're moving on.
In theaters, I thought it was very funny. He basically went undercover and went into these DEI-related programs and practices and exposed them as not only embarrassing virtue signalers, but also just complete fraudsters.
Yeah.
And
Runaway Vagabond for a 5-banger. Personally, I think Matt Walsh just rage baits pop culture stuff on purpose. Usually the next day he posts an opposite post. I still like Matt. I don't think so. Now, let me rephrase. I half agree. He absolutely does rage bait with his pop culture posts. He does. And he does do that intentionally. He has admitted as such. He admitted as such when he was on Tim Pool, the whole nine. Like, he rage baits and posts snarky, sarcastic pop culture takes. But I also think he believes them. He might up the ante, he might take it further in his rage baiting than he actually believes for the bait. But I do think he does, at the end of the day, believe this stuff, without a doubt. And UAF Omega for a 2-banger says, that's fluffer professional attire. Alright, someone ban this motherfucker. I've changed my opinion on free speech. Someone ban this motherfucker.
And spoiler alert.
Thank you guys for the donos, by the way. I appreciate you.
The ending scene is just the chef's kiss.
Fucking peak, yeah.
Where he interviews the author of the book, White Fragility, and basically using her own virtue signaling.
Basically, asked if she'd give reparations to somebody. It was actually kind of amazing.
Convinces her to open up her wallet and give like $20 over to his black co-producer as a form of reparations. It was really, really funny. But the problem, like I said, is that when it comes to anime, he has a very big issue with it, and it's a hill he is willing to die on. Here's just...
Now, I want to see if Rev gives the proper context here, because it is worth mentioning. And again, as somebody who, look, I'm down for dogging on Matt Walsh. But, and to be fair, I also made the mistake of falling for this until much later.
One of many clips of him talking about anime over the years.
What's your opinion on anime? It's really popular amongst teens and young adults. I think it's...
You know the thing about Matt is I can't ever tell if he's actually like just memeing, because he memes a lot. He's kind of like that. He has like this kind of humor where, because I watched him a lot. I used to watch Matt Walsh when he... Anybody remember this shit? I used to watch Matt Walsh when his entire show was a dude in a car. It was like him in a car and he would just rant in his car. That's when I used to watch Matt. So like, it's kind of like he was always like a kind of memer. He isn't memeing about anime. I mean, it's possible.
Holy shit. Hypno. Have you ever noticed, because Hypno, I assume you're still here, Matt Walsh and Real Life Fake Wizard got them same DSLs. Look at this and tell me right now that Matt Walsh don't have them fucking Real Life Fake Wizard lips. Bro. We're gonna have some fun on Saturday Night Hypnosis this week. That's all I gotta say. We have some fun on Saturday Night Hypnosis this week.
It's all satanic. I have no argument for it. I have no argument for why it's satanic. It just seems that way to me. All anime to me seems weird, just like bizarre. Creepy.
Now, he was trolling and memeing here. He doesn't like anime. Like, Matt Walsh openly does not like anime. However, he doesn't actually find it to be satanic. He did explain that he was rage baiting with this sentiment in a later podcast. Ebonics Kang with the 2-banger says, from a 0 to 10, about a 7 on the banana cocker scale. Leon, my shirt isn't gay. Also, Leon, notices another man's DSLs. I never would have noticed that shit if it weren't for Hypno. I never would have noticed that shit if it weren't for Hypno.
Creepy.
Thank you for the 2-banger, Kang.
In general, I don't think that adults should be, whether it's anime or any other kind of cartoon, with rare exception, adults really should be watching cartoons in general.
But why? What's the logic behind
now,
it?
of course, it's just
like, what's the logic behind that? So, like, why is it that the nature of something being animated makes it bad? Like, what is the reason behind that?
all vibes.
Vibes-based logic.
And feelings, right? He can't even really describe why it's demonic and why it's so separate from any other medium. But a lot of people try to defend what he's saying by
He's
saying
trolling?
it's,
I think he is trolling.
It's irony, right? He's behind so many layers of irony. We don't
Now again, he was half trolling here. He does hate anime and animation. He does not actually think it's satanic.
even know if he's serious.
That's literally what I said, chat. Literally what I said. It's like, I can't even tell, like, if he's, like,
But the problem
actually for
is
real.
he has many, many more layers of him seething about anime. He's been seething about...
Elmer bought for a 2-banger. Is Matt the next Poke evolution of Fake Wizard? Nah, dude, there's no way that Fake Wizard could evolve into something so fucking boring.
anime for many,
That's
many
fair.
years.
That
and
is
it just
fair,
seems
yeah, that's
like
true.
such
Now, fuck you, Fab.
a weird hill to die on, and he's doing it once again.
UAF Omega for a 2-banger. Hypno got you again. Tormented Souls, now dude DSL. Yeah, man. Hypno's a groomer. I guess it's true. Hypno's a groomer.
So he begins with this post where people are talking about sports and trying to basically say sports are not important to American culture, where he responds with this saying, this
Now, I have, before he even gets to the anime stuff, I have an issue with his framing here. Look, a lot of people don't like Vivek Ramaswamy. A lot of people think that he's a cheat. A lot of people think that he's a usurper. A lot of people think that he's an industry plant, or he's a leftist plant, or a New World Order plant, all this stuff. And you know what? Have those opinions, that's fine. When Vivek Ramaswamy came out and he said that it is that it is kind of a disaster that we live in a nation that values athletes, professional athletes, more than people who are more than mathletes, brilliant minds, Vivek was correct. Vivek was absolutely correct. We put too much emphasis on individuals and their, sports ball, since Matt doesn't like when we say that, their sports ball accolades, than we do breeding an intelligent, philosophically minded society. Junebot loves you for a 2-banger. What DSL mean? Digital subscriber line. Nobody tell him. It's digital subscriber line. No, it does mean digital subscriber line, but it also means dick sucking lips. It means dick sucking lips.
This is why I get so annoyed at the dumb conservatives who denigrate sports ball or whatever. Sports are a fundamental part of culture, just like art. You can't pretend that you want to preserve American culture while at the same time totally dismissing these elements of culture. You don't have to be a fan of any particular sport, but to write off the whole thing as beneath you just makes you a pretentious dork at best, or a nihilist at worst, or both. And honestly, I agree. Okay, I think that is a fair point. But
I don't think it's a fair point though. Okay, let me take a more nuanced pick. It would be a fair point if our culture didn't overemphasize athletic celebrity to such an insane degree. Like, there are people that, not just people, there's a large swath of people that would vote for LeBron James for president simply on the nature of his game because he's a great athlete. That's fucked up. That is an over-idealization in an overly obsessive way to look at sports as part of American culture. Now, are sports an important part of American culture? Yes. I'm not going to deny that whatsoever. Look, believe it or not, there's certain sports I love, bro. I love UFC. Love UFC. Also love golf. Two couldn't be more fucking different, but I love both. So yes, sports are an important part of American culture. However, we also have a problem with how important they are.
You can see there's a question here, and a very fair one based on his posting history. Apply this same logic, Matt, to how you feel about video games, anime, nerd culture, etc. And of course, it goes off the rails. He says this with immense backlash. You can see getting more comments than likes, where he says anime is not a fundamental part of American culture, and I really shouldn't have to explain why.
This didn't used to be the case. Sure, it didn't used to. I will die on the hill that anime at this point is absolutely a fundamental part of American culture. And I'll explain why, but I want to hear what their arguments are first, because I want to see if any of them make the same argument as me.
Now, of course, he is ignoring the fact that
he's ignoring the rest of
anime is quite literally mainstream in America, whether that's a good thing or not. You know, we see a lot of tourists, a lot of people who watch, two anime and claim they're the biggest anime fans ever, but it is happening, right? Things have changed, okay? I remember back in...
El Murbot with the 2 bangers. Speaking of UFC, shout out to Strickland, recent KO. Dude, yeah, shout out Strickland. Fuck yeah. Base, appreciate you, Murboth.
In the day, it was...
Also, so what about the Christian anime that were produced for America? What about that? Is that... So...
It's true. Jin Fukunaga, Jin Fukunaga actually opened a Christian anime studio after leaving Funimation. Like, the founder of Funimation left Funimation to open a Christian anime studio.
So bad. So also not relevant.
Exactly, Vagabond. An example is how schools spend so much money on football stadiums but nothing on music. Back when I was a theater kid and was somehow even gayer than I am now, we had all the funding for our production of was it when we were doing Cinderella or was it when we were doing Grease? It was one of the two. It was Cinderella or Grease. I don't remember which one. We had all the funding that was supposed to go towards that play pulled and given to the football team to the point where the theater teacher and all the students had to self-finance the entire production. The entire production.
So rare.
Vivek was perpetuating the lie that the U.S. can't produce tech workers so he can import. That doesn't matter. You can be correct in that that's what he was doing, but he could still also have a valid point in that that is the over idealization of sports culture is a problem.
Find any sort of anime merchandise at any store. You had to go to a really specific...
Is there a Christian anime? Yeah, Superbook. You guys haven't seen Superbook?
Runway Vagabond for a 5-banger. I say anime is just part of American culture since it's originally borrowed from American animation and some American animation borrowed from it. Well, I made that argument when we talked about it on Monday, but we're going to get a bit further into it. But yes, I would agree with that, but I don't even think that's the strongest argument for why. I don't think that's the strongest argument for why.
When I open the book,
Thick hobby-related store, a nerd-type store to find anything with anime. Nowadays...
It's a good... it says it's an isekai. It's kind of a pseudo isekai. It's about they get sent back in time into the Bible era, and they're trying to get their dog, and so it's the robot and the robot.
Ebonis Kang for a 5-bangers as Leon does in fact not like golf. Maybe the ball can... Yo, shut the fuck up, Kang. Bro, I grew up playing golf, homie. I grew up... I was one of them white kids. Yo, my dad would take me to the driving range. Nah, dude. I love golf.
And the little kid are trying to find their dog, and then the brother and the sister are operators basically on the computer, and then they're trying to help them find a dog, and they have to go through all the biblical eras, and it goes through a lot of Bible stories. They get caught up in stories that are in the Bible.
You can go to the grocery store and find literally manga. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. You look at Barnes and Noble, the wall for comic books, it's like one shelf. And then for anime, it's like 5 shelves at your average place. Like, it's crazy. I mean, even recently, I just
Do
saw
they
this
make
post.
Jesus? I don't know. I don't know if they do. Did they ever do that? And I don't know.
There is a Goddess of Victory Nike ad at Times Square in...
All right, well, that's a bad example. That's not anime. Goddess of Victory Nike is South Korean, not anime, doesn't count. Elmer bought for a 2-banger. My old mom knows shit but anime, but knows Pikachu. You're getting real close to my argument, homie. You getting real close to my argument.
New York City. Now, of course, it's a Korean company, but...
Okay, all right, he acknowledged it. Fair enough, Rev, he acknowledged it.
They did?
It's anime
Oh, they did,
themed.
apparently.
This is right in Times Square, okay? I guess Sharia law, or what they're trying to do over there, is not working out too well if that's going to be broadcasted in front of the entire city.
That's haram, yeah.
But
true.
anyways, you can see this post. This individual said, there's still time for Matt Walsh to renounce his hatred of anime before the curse of counter-signaling eventually comes for him. And this was posted literally 2 weeks ago. And the same user quoted it saying, it's not looking good. Yeah.
Ebonics Kang for a 2-banger? That's because football is Kang, nerd. What? Oh, Kang is like... Okay, look. Football, fine and dandy and shit. It is not better than UFC. Football is not better or more entertaining or more fun than the UFC. Or even the WWE, if I'm being real. Or even the WWE. Fantastically, amazingly, brilliant for a 5-banger. Just so you know, you can blame King Bigot for what I just posted on Discord. When you get around to seeing it, okay, hold on. I gotta check this now. I got it. Leon, okay, in general chat, the Emperor's gay clothes, not racist, just gay. Now all you need is some makeup and nail varnish, perhaps a handbag too. Might want to inhale some helium for that high. Were you around during the Leona days, Fab? Were you around during the Leona days? I've done so much gayer for pay. I've had such worse gay for pay moments on this channel.
Unfortunately, that is the route he went with, and people are roasting him in the comments and quotes. We'll read a few of the comments, and then we'll look at some of the quotes that kind of dive into this a little bit more deep. You can see this.
Damn.
Not just anime then, the other things still apply. It's a fundamental part of modern right-wing culture, but you're also ignoring the other examples he listed because...
You know, I like this argument. It's a fundamental part of modern right-wing culture. Let's be real. You know for fucking fact that the racist Frieren memes, they ain't happening in Japan. They ain't coming from Japan. That's all right-wing, baby. Like, using Frieren to call to like dismantle lefties is all American, baby.
You're not interested in engaging honestly.
By the way, this kind of attitude that Matt Walsh has right now, and obviously like this is on the smaller level, but that general sentiment is the reason why we're in all of this shit in the first place.
Leaf is exactly correct. And I've said this a million times. The refusal for the right wing to engage in culture, they only have themselves to blame. Only have themselves to blame.
Republicans, churches, all refusing to engage with the culture because they're too good for it. Like this
Facts.
whole like, oh, it's beneath me. Oh yeah, the stuff that everyone loves, yeah, it's beneath me. I know, you know, I'm just too good for this. That attitude is the reason we're that's the reason we're in this shit in the first place. They're the ones who caused this. They're
Thal Greenskin says the right doesn't create good pop culture. It does not. The right's... Let me show you guys an example of the right's pop culture. I believe it was called the New Norm trailer. Let me show you guys an example of the right's pop culture.
What's that?
Progress. It's the new norm.
The new norm ain't the same as the old.
I don't understand. You're black.
Did that just Black Whisper?
You're his friend?
And boss. Speaking of, when you come...
way to break him. Maybe we can fix the country.
I just...
This is the right's pop culture. This is the right's answer to the leftist takeover. Just as ideologically driven, just as unfunny. In fact, though, I would say it's worse than leftist pop culture, and here's why. Because the right won't actually even, like... And the perfect example of this is Lady Ballers. Because the right wants to maintain their ethics and their values, and they won't push the envelope, they won't actually go for the really fucked up, edgy jokes, because that would be too far and un-Christian-like. So yeah, it's abysmal. Right-wing pop culture, if you want to call it that, is abysmal.
Their complacency is what caused this entire thing.
On the subject, I love that you ignore the other bits, and I love how myopic you are, not even thinking about how anime has influenced the nerd culture and growth of gaming and storytelling done here
Did the
at
Vatican
home.
make anime? Yeah, they had like a Luce? Yeah, and I think that something like that is.
By the way, The Little Mermaid, the Disney film, The Little Mermaid, the original, the good one from 1987, the animators openly stated directly in her character design, directly inspired by anime. The big expressive eyes and everything, the character art for The Little Mermaid was directly inspired by anime. And this is back in 1987.
Is good. I think so.
Because it's entertaining,
it appeals to a lot. Like, Lucha is such a good thing because not only does it appeal to a lot of people, it also gives people something to rally behind. It's like a celebration, right? It's like a thing that people can say like it is a thing that people can sort of attached to in a way.
Actually worth watching and still good.
In the same way, the symbolism of like the Templars and like, you know, just like Crusaders is like badass for you know.
Well, I don't think that is the case at all, King of Demise. Most cartoons are not inspired by anime. That is, first of all, that's also a retarded statement. Anime are cartoons. So that's a dumb statement to begin with. But even taking the pedantry out of it, no, most cartoons are not inspired by anime.
For Christians, right? At least they look on that as like an epic thing.
I really shouldn't have to explain why. I am thoroughly convinced Matt Walsh is a psyop and the absolutely worthless slop that Hollywood has produced in the last 20 years is. Anime fans on a basket weaving forum got Trump elected.
This is true. Bro, gamers and weebs who are sick of the status quo are the sole reason for Trump's victory. Y'all need us a lot more than we need you.
You should thank them for your career. Anime is not a fundamental part of American culture. Is that so? Then
yo, look at that. We got some OG 4Kids animation love, man. OG 4Kids. Let's see. All right. Mew Mew Power, Sonic X, One Piece. I can't tell what that is. More One Piece, more Sonic X. Is that Shaman King? I think that's Shaman King. Looks like that might be Winx Club, but I'm not sure. Ninja Turtles. That's definitely Shaman King. I can't make out what that one is. Yo, this, man. Right here. You look, say what you want about 4Kids dubs. I get it, they were awful. Bro, Fox Kids later became the Fox Box, later became 4Kids TV. You cannot understate how important they were. Everyone loves to talk about Toonami, right? Everyone loves to talk about Toonami. You can't underestimate or understate how important 4Kids was in at least making anime more mainstream in a good way. Back when, like, before the modern terms of mainstream. No, Winx Club was not actually Japanese. Winx Club was not Japanese. Fantastically, amazingly brilliant for a 20-banger. 100% agree. There's a reason the 70s and 80s are well regarded, especially musically. Just one example. Because you had people pushing the envelope. Artists such as David Bowie et al. Who weren't afraid to take risks. Wasn't David Bowie British, though? I mean, I get what you're saying, and the sentiment's correct. But we're talking about just American culture. But yeah, fair enough. Thank you for the 20-banger. For a 20-banger, we're going to give you a clip. For a 20-banger, we will absolutely give a clip.
Like, I don't think humans were meant to see sissy hypno inflation compilations.
But hey, by the way, did you know that I suck dick as a man? I lick the ass of other men. But really quick, I lick the balls of a man.
Shout out for the 20 banger Fab. Thank you very much.
Oh, then explain this, libtard. Next one down here. Imagine thinking sports ball is more important to Western culture
This
than
is
this.
so true.
Yes, amazing.
This is actually a fucking amazing comparison here with the what was this again? Was this this was Lord of the Rings. Is this Lord of the Rings? Was this Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones? Well, this top one. Dance of
Game
Dragons.
of Thrones.
No, Lord of the Rings as in like the new one. You know, the new one or whatever. But anyway,
Yeah, no, you're correct, Fab. It does correct British culture as well. That's why I said fair enough. I was like, yeah, I retracted that was me retracting my statement because you're correct. It does affect British culture as well. So you're correct.
have that, and then you have that compared with like free rent and just like this amazing like scene of Western culture.
So we're doing this again, Matt. Despite being Eastern, anime has more in common with Western values than 99% of modern
legendary
Western entertainment,
pirate,
and it's
the
not even
pirate
close.
king.
Anime is the hero's journey, sacrifice, valor, honor, merit, discipline. Now let's look at some of the quotes. You can see this right here. Counter-signaling and ostracizing pop culture.
All right, so I'm going to pull up my response. I'm going to because I think my response was stronger than everybody else's in that regard. I think my response beat everybody else's. What is the most American holiday besides the 4th of July? Specifically besides the 4th of July, what is the most American holiday? While I'm pulling up my post, you guys tell me in the chat, what is the most American holiday besides the 4th of July? Bingo! Butterframed and Gold got it. Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the most American holiday besides the 4th of July. So I posted, let's see, where'd it go? It should be my replies. Do I have to go? Oh, do I have to actually go to Matt Walsh's post? Shit, I have to actually go to Matt Walsh's post. I'm trying to find it in my notifications here. Let's see. Democrats, nope. Honestly, nope. Fuck off, nope. Democrats, nope. Come on, bitch. I know it's here somewhere. Dead Space. Fuck off. Halo 2. Oh, yeah. Completely unrelated, by the way. Kata's wrong. Kata says the only answer is number 2. No. Pick your night in, number 1. You picked number 1. Halo 2 and the Duke clear Halo 3. Absolutely. But that's not what we're talking about here. Anyway, man, a lot of people like this shit. Why am I having so much trouble finding it? Shout out to Zax. Here it is. All right. When Goku has been a main fixture of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade since 2018. Right there. When you have got Goku as one of the main fixtures of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, the most American holiday sans the 4th of July, this right here destroys his entire argument. Yeah, Pikachu's more than anime, right? Pokemon is, first of all, Pokemon's a video game before anything else, but really it's a multimedia project. Like Pokemon is multimedia. Video games, card games, anime, everything. People, when they think of Pokemon, they don't just think of anime. But when you think of Dragon Ball, you do think of anime. Which is why I think that Goku is a stronger argument than Pikachu. But you're right, Mervoff. Now Luffy. Now, the point is, when you've got Goku, the most... Well, yeah, of course Luffy counts. But, like, I don't think anybody would argue that Goku is the most iconic anime character of all time. Whether you like Dragon Ball or not, it's irrelevant. Goku is the most iconic anime character of all time. No, Pokemon was not a manga before it was a video game. You are incorrect. The Pokemon manga came much later. Anyway, if you've got the most popular anime character of all time, and for 8 years now, he's been a main fixture of the most American holiday ever, besides the 4th of July, that just absolutely destroys Matt Walsh's argument.
Culture like anime and video games is what leads to Republicans losing the electorate.
Yep, exactly.
And this person also says down here.
Exactly, because it makes you look like a douchebag. Because you're judging an entire thing like not based on the content. You're judging an entire thing like you're judging an entire thing based on like vibes. Actually, what they said, just vibes. There's like no reason behind it. And there was a point that was brought up earlier. So like, what are you talking about? You're talking about how what is American culture? Like, oh, you mean like Hollywood?
When I think of Goku, I think of him losing to Superman. Hey, man, for $2, I'll allow you to live in delusion. I'll absolutely allow you to live in delusion for $2.
Right now? Do you want more of that? Or do you want more free run? Right? It totally makes sense, yeah.
Oh, that dude again with his random anime hate tweet did an anime profile picture ratio him once and he can't let it go.
Destroyed.
I don't understand.
Dragon Ball is inherently Japanese, I mean, it was very popular. Wrong again. Wrong again. Actually, Toriyama himself stated that, first of all, Dragon Ball is very Chinese inspired, not Japanese. But even then, he took massive amounts of symbolism and inspiration from American Hollywood cinema. All of the designs for like the what are they called? Like the vehicles and shit, very American. The Future Trunks arc is based on Terminator 2. Akira Toriyama had a fascination with Hollywood film. So much of Dragon Ball is very American inspired. So I would not say it's not just, when you say it's inherently Japanese, I mean, just historically speaking, you're incorrect. Now, it's a Japanese IP, for sure. But it has transcended being inherently of any one culture. That's why I use Dragon Ball as the example. Dragon Ball has transcended being inherently of one culture. What are some other, like there are anime that are inherently Japanese, absolutely. I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head. What's it called? Psychopass. Psychopass is inherently Japanese. Most slice of life anime are inherently Japanese. Dragon Ball is not, though.
Understand why he has a hate boner for anime. Yeah, many such cases. Okay, people getting ratioed by an anime.
Yeah, Bleach. I would actually argue that well, no, even excuse me, even Bleach crosses that boundary because Bleach has a whole man. Sorry, guys. Bleach has a lot of European, specifically Spanish, and I think like Latin American influence. I could be wrong, but it's got a lot of European and Latin American influence.
Anime profile picture and just never forgetting about it. We've seen many cases, but this is a very good point right here. Okay. Just look at this. Like, why would you ostracize so many people?
The problem is like Matt Walsh right now is basically speaking to the choir. He's speaking to the choir and he's speaking to he's talking.
Guys, you keep specifying German. I said European. Where is Germany? Europe. Just saying.
To all the boomers, you need to get the new generation. And again, this is the issue. This is what Republicans, conservatives have done. This is what the church has done. This is the thing that those institutions have done, is completely ignore the culture war and say, we're too good for this. It's beneath us. They completely abandoned the space, and who took it over? Why do you think that Hollywood now is full of all of this crazy fucking shit? And commie shit.
It is full of this stuff because if you listen to the speeches of Yuri Bezmenov, the commies infiltrated, and I mean literal communists, actual communists infiltrated in the 60s and started planning this communist takeover of our culture all the way back then over a 3-generation long form Cold Warfare.
And all of this shit, it's because they said we're not gonna fight. Oh,
exactly, Fab. Long march through the institutions. Exactly.
You want this space? Take it. It's yours. For free, by the way. We're not even going to fight. We're just going to retreat like a bunch of bitches. And that's what this is.
By attacking anime, like, what good does this serve any movement of yours?
They got us into this.
Right here. You can
the inability for people like Matt Walsh to realize how American so many of the values in anime are. Now, let's just talk about shonen anime, which y'all know that I'm kind of a shonen hater, right? At least modern shonen hater. But let's talk about it objectively. So many of the values in shonen anime are incredibly, I would even say inherently, Republican or conservative or just flat American values. Self-reliance, independence, responsibility for one's actions, overcoming adversity. All of that. All of that are, these are virtues that the right wing preach. Back to Frieren. There is obviously a reason that the right wing gravitated so much to Frieren. Because it fits pretty much every single part of their ideology and their agenda. And I mean that in the best way.
See that.
Blame. Sorry. This kind of.
And yes, correct, Adam. That's why I brought up Bezmenov. Bezmenov gave the warning in the 80s, but they had started infesting in like the 60s.
This kind of sets me off. Blame the wokies all you want. Blame the Quangos all you want.
And Hugo is correct. Matt Walsh has the imagination of a brick. His opinion on these matters is irrelevant. And while you are correct in isolation, Matt Walsh is irrelevant. It speaks to a larger issue about the old guard conservatives who completely disregard these incredibly important aspects of the American culture.
You're the ones who opened the gates and let everyone in. You're the ones who you said, oh yeah, you know what? We don't need this castle anyway. They opened the gates and let everyone inside, and then they left. They left and they went up on their hill. They went up on their hill and fucked off.
According to this Polygon data, 42% of Gen Z in America watch anime regularly.
Careful, Leon. Sargon arguing individualism and self-reliance is communism. Well, they're objectively incorrect. And I love Sargon. And Arch is a cool dude. I don't watch Arch very often. He's been on the show before. I like him. He's a nice guy. But they're incorrect.
Even better, Netflix says that half of their subscribers have watched anime. Japanese market firm Deadsu said that 36% of Americans watch anime weekly. And like Crunchyroll or not, they have 18 million global subscribers. And of course,
there it is.
Recently we had the Demon Slayer film that grossed over $600 million.
That movie was sick.
Globally. This is a part of American culture.
I think we shouldn't take his opinion seriously. We just have to make sure that, that in America, Matt Walsh and his likes never get the whole power. Well, and that's the thing, Kush Dave. We should take his opinion seriously because you should never underestimate your enemy, right? Now, taking someone's opinion seriously is not the same as agreeing with their opinion. We should take the fact that Matt Walsh has all these subscribers, all these viewers, all this influence over the hearts and minds of the conservative voter from a myriad of different age range demographics. So his opinion should be taken seriously, and the seriousness should be that his opinion is harmful to the conservative movement when it comes to young voters. If you want young conservative voters, you cannot turn them away. Let me show you guys. Let me show you guys my favorite. I love Vic Mignogna. Y'all know I'm a huge fan of Vic Mignogna. Let me see if I can find this video. And y'all know that Vic Mignogna is a massive Christian. We're gonna let this entire video play out. This to me is the encapsulation, the perfect encapsulation of how you get young, conservative, Christian individuals to move to move the needle and move forward. Watch this. If you guys have never seen this, y'all are about to have your fucking minds blown.
Hi to them. I want to welcome Jones University, Liberty University, lead worship at First Baptist Houston. Very much of a committed believer in Christ. And what I have found, I am also a voice actor. I do a lot of voice work for animated shows and video games. And what I have found in my personal experience is that what these kids need to know is that God loves them, is that God embraces and accepts them as they are. They've been told by people who call themselves Christians for years, God hates this, God's going to judge you for this, God's going to condemn you for that, and they don't believe, they don't understand that God loves them as they are, and accepts them as they are.
So hold on.
So I would encourage you.
Jesus didn't command repentance?
Jesus loves people.
Jesus didn't command repentance for the remission.
That's not what I
of sins?
said. Let me ask you something.
Jesus
what do you
never
think?
says.
What do you think embraces?
Jesus never
What do you
said.
think encourages
He never
people
went
toward
around
God?
telling people he loved
I'm
them.
asking you a question.
You see,
What
you
do
are preaching a false gospel.
I'm afraid you're
You're
wrong, my
cursed,
friend. I could
sir.
quote more scripture than you'll ever
The
know.
devil can quote lots of scripture.
I'm not the devil, brother.
Just
Let me
wait
tell you
for it,
something.
guys.
Let me tell you
This gets
something.
brilliant.
I'm not boasting. I'm telling you
But you
that what
haven't
we just, if
boasted
you
in
want to reach
Jesus
these kids for
Christ.
Jesus, tell them about God's unconditional love for them,
Jesus
not
sat
his
down with
judgment.
the sinners.
And you know what?
He was
Jesus
eating
did
with
that
the
too.
sinners.
Jesus
And
walked
you don't talk about that.
Yes, I
Because
do.
sin
As a
is
matter
not
of fact, you're
sinful to
wrong.
you.
I do.
These people want
What you just
to
said, you have
believe.
no knowledge of. I do
But
talk
they're
about
so
that.
beaten
Sure,
down.
that's your
But these
by
kids
by
have
people
seen
like-
people.
The Bible says
Excuse me?
none
that seeks God.
So you don't either, right?
I did not seek God.
But you don't now, because it
Jesus
says
Christ-
none seeks God by your own words.
Jesus Christ came, and he sought after me. What's the Lord?
With what?
And you know
With
what?
his judgment or
You
with
know
his
what?
love for you? No, wait a minute. No, really.
He was on
I
it.
was
Was it
just-
Jesus'
I
love
was
for you
just
that
like
or judgment that drew him to you?
who was dead 4 days, could
Exactly.
not get up on his own.
You don't like this, sir?
Jesus Christ
Excuse me?
delivered
You don't
me
like
from
this?
the wrath
Oh, I
of
love it. I tell you what I don't like. What I don't like is you are presenting an image of God to these kids.
Anything. Put up my sign.
You
As
haven't
the word
said
of
anything.
God. As the word of
Let's
God.
see.
Jesus
fear,
saves from the wrath
fear,
of God.
wrath, flames.
Yes.
Thieves, unthankful.
Isn't that what Jesus spoke about?
Wrath, fear,
Isn't that what Jesus
flames.
spoke about?
You're speaking.
That's not the message
That's
that
not
draws
what you
people
mean.
to
This
God.
then is the message that God is light and in him is no darkness
By
at all.
this shall all
If we
men know if
say
you are my
that we
disciples, if
walk
you
in the
love,
light
show
and
love
we
for
walk
one
in
another.
darkness, we lie
Jesus
and do
embraced
not
the
truth.
sinners all around him. He loved them. He didn't
He
walk
wasn't
up to the
eating with the
he didn't walk
Pharisees.
up to the
He was
people
going
to the
down
sinners
and
and say,
sitting with the
"You're going to
sinners."
hell.
Your
I'm going to
message-
judge you. You're going in
your
flames."
message is
No,
contrary
he
to the
loved it.
message
No,
of
it's not.
Jesus.
Then you haven't read the whole Bible,
You know
my
what? He
dear.
said it would be better for you
If
to,
it- yeah.
to enter into hell without an arm or without an
Right.
eye.
Right.
I mean, to enter into life
know
without an
this.
arm,
I know what he
without,
said.
without an eye.
I know what he said.
Then to enter into hell, where
Full,
the
completely full.
fire
That's right. That's
is
right.
never
And you know what?
quenched.
All I'm telling you guys
So
is
these
this.
words that we
All I'm
brought
t-
up,
go ahead,
these
finish
are the
her.
words of
Finish
Jesus
her.
Christ.
So am I.
These are the words of
So
Jesus
are mine.
Christ. And you say by putting up these words of Jesus Christ that we are causing people to be offended.
No, that's not what I said at all.
Well, Jesus
That's not
Christ,
what I said.
Jesus Christ.
That's not what I said. What I said was, it is God's love that
Do you know
draws
that
people
in
to
John
repentance,
6,
not hatred and wrath and
Do you know
judgment.
that in John
It's God's
6,
love and
Jesus
desire
says,
for
"Unless
them
you
that draws
eat
them to Him."
of
And you
my
guys,
flesh
if you have any
and
desire to
drink
reach these
of
people
my
for God,
blood,
you should be
you
telling them
shall
about His
not
love for them.
enter into
Unless
Period.
you repent, you will likewise perish. May I take a picture? It'd be better for a millstone were tied
I
around your
encourage
neck
you,
and you were
sir.
cast into the sea.
You're
And
missing
you
the
would
whole
cause
point.
any one of these
You're
little
missing
ones
the
to
whole
stumble,
point,
sir.
friend.
You're a hypocrite, sir. Fires of hell wait for you, sir.
And you know what, brother? God loves these people as much
Jesus
as He
spoke
loves
hard
you.
people to
You know
religious
that?
people like
He
you.
loves all of these people as much as He loves you. And until you
Jesus
start
said,
preaching
"Everyone
that
that I
message,
love,
you are not
I
communicating God's
reprove
message.
and I rebuke. Be zealous.
Oh, judgment, wrath.
Yes, for judgment have I come into this world, Jesus said.
Listen to God, man.
For judgment.
He loves these people as much as
Yes,
He
He
loves
does. He loves every one of them. He tells
Then
them,
why don't you preach that? Put up a sign that says that. Put up a sign that says that. No, that
This
says
is the
fear,
everlasting God.
wrath, judgment, flames. That's what your sign says.
You're offended at the word of God.
No, I'm not, brother. I'm trying to tell you what
Bible
God
says
wants to
the
tell these
righteous
people.
are not easily offended, sir.
Jesus.
You're offended at the word of God.
No, I'm not, brother.
Jesus.
I've been studying the Word of God as long as you have.
Like
To the
literally.
pure, all things are pure, but to those who defile
God loves
unbelieving,
these people as much as He loves you, and that's the message you should be teaching them.
not the message of
Based as fuck Vic. Based as fuck Vic. He is absolutely correct. Regardless of whether we're talking about the conservative angle, regardless of whether we're talking about the religious angle, because, I mean, obviously they go hand in hand. The Christian conservatives go hand in hand oftentimes. And if you want to get the youth to see your way, to see your ideology, to come to the voting booths and to vote for you, and if you want to maintain this power, then Vic is absolutely correct. That is the message that should be being broadcast to the youth. Notice how all them young kids at that convention and all their cosplay, they've probably grown up watching anime and whatnot. Yeah, notice how they cheered for Vic. I don't know how many of them were drawn to Christianity afterwards, but I can good goddamn guarantee you that it was more of them than would have been drawn to it with those God-fearing, the wrathful messages that were on the signs. Absolutely. Zevin Cross for a 20-banger. What I've been told, this was an anime convention, don't remember where we're at. These protesters were out in front. Yeah. So these protesters were out in front of an anime convention, correct? And what Vic Mignogna often does is he holds, because I'm not trying to, like, name drop or anything. I don't really know a good way to say this without sounding clout chasey. I've gotten the opportunity to hang out with Vic for a long period of time, mind you. How I say this without sounding gay. Me and Vic spent an entire night together many years ago. Like not in a fucking gay way or anything like that. But yeah, no, me and Vic hung out all night one night, smoking cigars and talking religion, politics, cars, completely devoid of anything anime related. I just happened to run into him at a hotel and he was smoking a cigar. I knew who he was, but I didn't bring it up or anything. And we hung out for hours, smoking cigars, just talking religion, politics, and cars. He is a genuine, awesome fucking dude. And what he often does is during Sunday mornings, he holds like a holds like a Bible group sort of thing with the Christian anime congoers that want to come visit him. Yeah, I got nothing negative to say about the guy. Thank you for the 20-banger, homie. And then Vagabond says for the 2-banger, looks like Dragon Con. You need to come hang with us. I would love to go to Dragon Con. Never been. Dragon Con seems awesome. Junebug for a 5-banger says, that reminds me of the time Aiden Paladin tried to get Vit to sign a yaoi and Yuri Dojin to piss him off. That I've heard about that. I didn't know it was Aiden Paladin that did that, but that's funny. Fab for a 10-banger. I hate religious zealots. They often have the opposite intended effect on people, like me. Also, didn't Jesus, while he was dying on the cross, say something to one of the criminals' words of comfort? Yes, correct. He absolutely did. Shout out to all y'all for all those bangers. And after all this talk of Christianity, we need to sin a little bit. So here's some horsecock. Thank you so much.
Horse semen's great.
I'm digging horsecock.
Is your cock a horse cock? You will never hear me say it. Nay. Ooh, as I keep more.
My favorite stallion I keep in my top drawer kinda goes hard though.
'Cause there is no cock like horse cock. Send your asshole into shock and eat horse.
I don't know how we're going to ever top horsecock.
Shout out. Thank you to all the donos and also Randall and Xana. Thank you so much for gifting a membership. Absolute fucking legend. Y'all are the best. But point is, Vic was making that argument then, and this was years ago. This was like a decade or more ago. Vic was making that argument then that we're all making now. If the right wing and the religious turn their backs on these young, potential conservatives that are finding comfort in this fantastical escapism, such as anime, such as video games, then they are always destined to lose. Sly Maverick gave a Words Paradise gift membership. Legend, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you, homie.
It didn't start here, but it surely is a part of American culture, and going after it and isolating.
There were so many kids as Demon Slayer characters for Halloween this year. Like, actually, I seen like girls and boys, little boys and little girls dressed up as Demon Slayer characters on Halloween.
Different people, but especially young voters, seems very counterproductive to anything you're trying
That's why my mom dressed up in a Demon Slayer outfit, because like the kids
accomplish. And we had this response from Kirsha that I think was really good. So she says this: it's obviously culturally Japanese. However, a lot of us grew up watching it, whether a 4Kids dub or on TV or seeking out fan subs ourselves.
Yep.
It became something for us Americans that helped shape our interests and thoughts.
You should be, and you know what? A lot of us grew up watching this, whether on the 4Kids dub or TV or seeking out fan subs ourselves, and you should be fucking thankful. You should be fucking thankful that we did this, because if we didn't do this, we would just be on their side. So you should thank anime for saving us, for saving a couple of us out of there.
As we got older and
I disagree with your framing, Matthew Watson. Star Wars under Lucas was a good example of culture with conservative values. I do not think that Star Wars under Lucas had conservative values. So the problem with media analysis like this is using like modern day cultural, the modern day cultural zeitgeist and applying it to this classic literature. Or not necessarily literature in the case of Star Wars, you get what I'm saying. Now, I'm not saying Star Wars is leftist or Democrat. What I'm saying is Star Wars is just a fundamental hero's journey story. So yeah, you can absolutely apply aspects of Star Wars like the same way we're doing it with anime to showing the Christian values. But that doesn't mean that it is in and of itself that was what it was supposed to represent. I don't think that anime is inherently conservative. What I'm saying is anime shows us these conservative values. I mean, Star Wars has a lot of stuff in it, like the Ewoks being based off, the Viet Cong, for example. Reference to the Vietnam War. Vietnam War and being against the Vietnam War was a very leftist position. If we're looking at it through the modern day zeitgeist. So like you can make that argument, but I think Star Wars is just best when viewed as apolitical, black and white, right and wrong, without trying to apply the modern left-right, what the modern American left-right condition to it. So again, I get what you're saying. I don't necessarily disagree so much so as I think that that's just kind of a poor example, because I don't think that great American culture likes the original Star Wars should necessarily be politicized as left or right, because in all reality, it should, in theory, speak to both.
Leftist political preaching infected every aspect of American-made entertainment culture, from Hollywood to startup shows, to Netflix, to Hulu, to children's TV like Cartoon Network, to comics, to Western video games, to tabletop. The right ceded everything, arts-wise, to the left, all while chastising that to have hobbies.
PK, the one and only, became a vital idol, became a member all on her own. Shout out, PK, you absolute legend. Thank you.
In these areas as childish, lazy, a waste of time. So anime became a refuge untainted by politics that were suffocatingly inescapable elsewhere.
Real and true,
and then we are told anime is demonic. Anime is predator stuff. But you already see localizers trying to inject leftist American politics in anime and manga.
Look at the values that modern children's programming teaches kids. Look at that. Now compare that with Pretty Cure. Compare that with Pokemon. Compare that with Dragon Ball. Compare it with compare the kids shows, the kids shows coming out of Japan. Compare that with the kids shows coming out of America. That's all you have to do.
And y'all want to know, you say Star Wars under Disney is cancer. Y'all want to know the crazy thing? I think I brought this up on stream yesterday. Y'all want to know the crazy thing? Under Walt Disney was an insanely conservative guy. Walt Disney himself was hugely conservative, to the point to where during the 50s, he was an informant for the CIA on commies. Walt Disney was an anti-commie government informant. The company Disney was a massively conservative company. Oh, how the fucking mighty have fallen.
Rest my case. That's all I have to say. Shago, thank you so much for the 100 bits. Something I'm realizing now, in fact, is anime was what preserved Western culture for the most part. The average Joe who got into anime early saw how Japan...
Yes, he absolutely was, Tiger King. I'm not... For those of you who don't know, I've talked about this before. My two of my heroes in terms of business and practices, ethics, Walt Disney and Sam Walton. I'm a huge Walt Disney fanboy. Walt Disney led such an incredible life. Do a deep dive on the history of who Walt Disney was as a person, not just his work with the company of Disney. Walt Disney was a fascinating man. Walt Disney is truly one of my heroes.
Trade the West, and we're inspired. You're so fucking right. Today, HEMA, historical European martial arts, historical blacksmithing, armorsmithing, a ton of YouTube channels about such subjects exist today, largely because anime inspired the West to touch our roots again. Yeah, exactly. It's literally that meme of be the American
Catch you later,
Japan
Randall.
thinks you are. Exactly that, man. Be the Western society. Be the be the Western culture society that Japan thinks you are. Sapphire Ages, thank you so much.
Also, I didn't think about this argument initially. Matt Walsh says anime is not American, right? Well, anime as we know it didn't come about until roughly the 60s. That's when the era of anime as we know it as anime truly started, was the 60s. Y'all realize that after World War II, when we bombed the fuck out of them Japs, we basically rewrote their entire governmental system and constitution and made them like effectively a dog of the Western state, which I'm not knocking that. That's good. That's awesome. But yes, that's where I'm getting at, Eltram. Anime was a product of Westernization. The Japanese in the 50s and 60s became far more culturally similar to the West. So when you say when Matt Walsh says anime is not part of American culture, not only is he wrong on both on like a philosophical level, but he's actually wrong on a historical level.
The 100 bits Twitter's gonna love the voice bite about seeing little boys in class.
For years, you see English voice actors trying to change characters they are voicing to be more in line with leftist dogma. You see people joining fandoms and pushing out the original fans for being problematic. No one likes watching things they love being cannibalized and then used by ideologues to further an agenda. So yeah, anime isn't fundamentally American like cheeseburgers and hot rods, but it became a cornerstone for a lot of us. And I think a lot of people really resonate with this. If you've been an anime fan and you're an American, yeah, a lot of us grew up on anime. And it feels like anything else. It has been...
It's like, do you want your kids growing up on Pretty Cure and learning how to be like... And learning how to be a... how do I explain it? Learning how to be a good person. Learning how to be strong, how to be kind, all of these virtues, or would you rather have learning how to grow up being a slut? What do you want?
Who the fuck is Leaflet?
Opted into American culture. Just because it didn't start here doesn't mean it's not a part of our culture as well. And a lot of people have formed their hobbies and their interests all around anime. It's not
magical girls. They're cute. They're personally strong. They go through each of their trouble arcs of like, you know, duty. Like, dude, some of the Precure character arcs are all about duty, which we don't really have anymore, right? It's like, meanwhile, like kids shows is like a bunch of woke shit. Basically, it's woke shit and slut shit. That's all it is.
Not a surprise. And again,
like,
why are we
literally
isolating so many people on such what should be a very simple situation?
Math and Fun says, there was a time when the U.S. anime was based too. Old Disney. Oh, yeah, of course. There was good values before in American stuff, yeah. But this is what I said, is they abandoned the culture. They let the culture get away from them. For so long, the conservatives and the Christians and all of the people who stand for America abandoned the culture. They said, fuck it, we're not gonna fight anymore. We're too good for this. And they lost us almost everything. We almost lost, listen to me, we almost lost our country because of these people. So when these people...
full stop. I think Leaflet's jumping the gun. I do. She says we almost lost our country because I think that is still a possibility. That's absolutely still a possibility. Dude, with the way the administration has been waning and doing such a terrible job at gotten so much of what was promised by the Trump administration, I think the left is going to come in with a landslide victory in the midterms. Now, I hope that's not true, but I think that's likely what will happen, at least with the current state of things. We still could lose our country, this people. We didn't stop it. All we did was delay it.
People try to lecture you about like, oh, you like anime? That's gross? Shut the fuck up. Like, shut the fuck up. Where were you when our country was getting fucked up? Like, this is a literal, like, shut up boomer moment. Like, actually.
It shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't be raised. It's not going to help any sort of movement someone like Matt Walsh is trying to push forward. And also her comment about all of this stuff being infected. Yeah, the localizers are now infecting anime. It was like the last bastion of hope for many, where it seemed largely untouched by all this woke nonsense, but we get crap like this. And I bring this up and it makes people seethe, you know, all the usual suspects. Oh, you guys always bring up this Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid example. Well, yeah, because it's the most blatant one. This stuff happens all the time. There are plenty of localizations of anime and manga that are completely inappropriate and completely misrepresent.
You know, if you think about it, if you really think about it, we weebs and gamers, we held back the orcs. If you really think about it.
I absolutely agree with Adam C. Conservatives don't conserve anything but whatever the current status quo is. Agreed. Conservatives don't go hard enough. If I had it my way, y'all think Trump is a fascist? Y'all think the current regime is fascist? Nah, son. If I was in charge, you'll be seeing a whole lot more fascism. That's for damn sure.
It would have been all lost if it wasn't for gamers and weebs. Because we're the only ones that fought back. Everybody else folded. Everyone else folded like a towel.
What actually was said in the original dialogue, it misrepresents the intent of the author and injects their own political
leave it to the
agenda
nerds to save everything again,
they
right?
are vandalizing. And this is just a very clear-cut example where in the actual subtitles, the real translation, we have this dialogue. What's with the outfit? Everyone was saying something to me, so I tried toning down the exposure. How is it? You should try changing your body next. Referring to the fact that she's busty. This is the Funimation dub. This is the localization. What are you wearing that for? Oh, these pesky patriarchal societal demands were getting on my nerves, so I changed clothes. Give it a week. They'll be begging you to change back. Completely different meaning.
Conservatives are handbrake, nothing more. Trump is in many ways a Democrat from around 30 years ago. Conservatives and liberals were stupid terms to begin with. I wish Trump was a fraction of the fascist they say he is. Every one of those comments in succession is all correct. Every one of those 4 comments in a row are all correct.
Buzzwords, agenda, very clear and present. That's why this example is just so clear, cut, and dry. But the problem is, if you want to pretend to care about protecting the entertainment industry, well, guess what? Anime is a very close part of the American entertainment industry at this point. It is something that is very important to a lot of Americans. And when you concede it as, not important or something that is shameful to be interested in, you're allowing this to happen. You're allowing what happened to Hollywood, cartoons,
100%.
Entertainment generally in the United States to now affect localizations of something like anime that, like I have said.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of that scene in like it's like Princess Mononoke where he's like, get the fuck out of the way. Just get out of the way. Just get out.
Over and over again is a part of American culture, whether you like it. And really, there's nothing else to say about this. It is a losing battle. It is.
Well, fantastically, amazingly brilliant. You say the right can't get its act together. That's a large part of why the left feel like they're winning. Well, here's the harsh truth. Here's the unfortunate truth. The right not getting its act together is a facade. Because most of the right, I say most, because this isn't the case for all of them, but I would say a solid 85 to 95% majority are part of the Uniparty. They want the same evil New World Order cultural control, financial control that the left wants, and the optics that they are opposite of the left is just that, optics, to lull us into fighting for one side or the other, to think that they will come and save us. There are very few politicians or political thought leaders or anybody that are actually in the business of fighting against the New World Order, against the World Economic Forum, against the Illuminati, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Most of the right being just inept at fighting against the left is because they are actually on the same side, and it is a dog and pony show. That's the facts.
A weird hill to die on, whether you're on the left or on the right. Attacking anime or acting like it's not important for Americans and it's something to be scoffed at,
not uncommon,
or
Matt
it's
Walsh,
okay to vandalize, is a losing battle that should not even be something that is a talking point or a part of your movement.
The problem, okay guys, you want to know this is the macro problem between the right and the left, okay? Look at the right. And this is what I was talking about with like the whole like sewing circle. Look how much the right fights each other all the fucking time over like bullshit that doesn't even matter. The right's always fighting about all of this stupid ass fucking shit, like infighting all the time, literally in lockstep, all the.
All right, I'm gonna let her finish the thought because I think I'm about to disagree with her.
Time they march to the same beat every single time. They all shame the same people. They don't attack each other. They just ignore it. Right? Oh, like what do you mean? What do you mean Joe Biden did all this fucking shit? Who cares? They just ignore it. They never attack him or anything. None of them do. Almost all of them are in lockstep, and all of the ones that aren't, they got kicked out. They're all kicked out.
Okay, so yeah, Leaflet is correct. I'm trying, I can't tell if she's saying that the infighting in the right is good or bad. Because the infighting within the right is a double-edged sword. It's a good thing because it means they are not in an echo chamber, but it's a bad thing because the lack of unification makes it more difficult for everybody to get together and cumulatively fight against the left.
Shoe on head, I mean, Asmongold, really. Elon Musk, they're all kicked out. And again, the problem is like, and for better or for worse, people on the right are more free thinkers. So like, people are arguing all the fucking time on this side, right? But it's not only just
Ginty Maxi says, am I supposed to see the West Baptist Church everywhere? Because I don't yet. Oh, you don't? Here, I can show you. I can absolutely show you. You want to see the West Baptist? You want to see the West Baptist? I can show you some West Baptists. Did I? Nope, I don't think we're there yet. Hold on. Getting close. R.I.P. Hondo. It's somewhere around. Yeah, here it is. There's some West Baptists for you. I saw the West Baptists. I hung out with them. I hung out with the West Baptists 107 weeks ago. It was great. It was fun. I can't stand them. But they're funny as fuck. They're funny as fuck. There's your West Baptist for you.
arguing. It's like people are literally pointing guns at each other. I mean, not literally, but I meant figuratively. Pointing guns at each other and starting infights with each other like this fucking anime shit that doesn't even matter.
If you're being halfway serious about a political...
And this is why, like, what Andrew Wilson said about, like, the sewing circle Christians and all of these, like, right-wing people, it makes total sense to me now. About, like, because I remember, like, watching him get, like, so mad at it, and I was like, I wonder why he's, like, so mad at this, right? And like, I get, like, it's an issue, right? But I didn't really understand it. I totally understand it now. I think he's completely right. Is that you have all of these people who just refuse to actually do anything. They don't actually put any action into actually fighting the enemy. I
don't think he's completely right. I think that Andrew Wilson is mostly right, but I don't think that he is completely right. And the reason is because Andrew's solution is a temporary solution, much like the leftist solution. We saw a massive rise in leftism due to it being backed by all these power structures that are kind of amorphous and behind the scenes. And Andrew Wilson's, at least based on what I can tell, because I like Andrew Wilson, I'm an Andrew Wilson fan, but Andrew Wilson's argument is that that's what the right needs, right? The Christian right, specifically the Christian nationalist far right, needs the same thing. And while he's correct that that would fix things in the short term, you're going to end up getting the exact same effect that we're seeing in the left now. Give it a generation or so, and you're going to see a massive rejection of those norms.
I mean, Matt Walsh obviously does, right? But a lot of the other people don't. They just keep coming after the people that are, so that they can get brownie points with the other side, which is so annoying.
And Dormant Psyche, you're correct that the right are legit in an ideological crossroads. The problem is it's a disparity. That's why I said about 85% of the right are part of the Uniparty. You got 15% that are actually trying to break away, so you got the crossroads, but it's incredibly lopsided.
Part of your movement if you're being halfway serious about a political or cultural movement. But anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comments.
Yeah, Smoking Man bad. Nah, dude, I love Andrew Wilson. I would love to chat with him because the only question, because I agree with like a solid 90% of what Andrew Wilson says. The thing I would disagree with, or maybe not even disagree, but I've never heard him answer it. And I don't know if he has an answer for it. But yes, he could hypothetically get his way, get the Christian nationalist far-right version of what the far leftists have had for 15 to 30 years now, honestly. But how would he actually mitigate the eventual cultural breakaway from that would inevitably come? Like, yeah, and he is an old school nerd. Dude, he knows his shit about X-Men, dude. He plays Helldivers, knows his shit about X-Men. But no, I'm curious what antidote he has to a cultural breakaway that would usurp, that could usurp the far-right Christian nationalist movement in the future, like what is currently happening against the leftists. And I've never heard him speak on his answer to that. Maybe he never has, I don't know. But that is the question I would love to ask of Andrew Wilson. Because I agree with him with just about everything else, but I don't actually think his solution is a long-term permanent one.
Section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
I don't think it's technically people on the right that tend to be more free thinkers. It's just the left has gone so far left that everyone in the middle looks right. I mean, what I mean is like the battle lines of the right and the left. And all of the conservatives are kind of on our side now, to be honest, because they would rather that the Quangos don't win, because if the Quangos win, they destroy everything. It's an alliance that they have kind of, it's an unwilling alliance, basically. Fuentes is guilty of this too, yeah. And if you really think about it, a lot of it is just the same sort of thing. It's the pure.
Yes, a permanent solution, or in fact, a final solution, some might say. My heart goes out to you guys, chat.
Purity. They desire the purity spiral, right? And this kind of goes into horseshoe theory, where the people like on the further right want the same thing as the people on the left. They want the purity spiral, but
correct.
Just to their own.
She is
ends.
absolutely correct.
So really, if you think about it, it's actually the Quangos. It's actually the Quangos and the purity spiral people. Like actually, they're our enemy, both of them, really. Because again, like these people on the right, they let it happen. They let it happen, and then they attack the people that really saved them. Like I'm actually not even memeing. Like I'm not memeing at all when I say that the gamers and the nerds are the only ones, like the weebs, the gamers and the nerds are the only ones that held up any sort of line against the invasion. And it's like I said, like we're not going to agree on everything, right? We won't, as a community, agree with everyone and everything. You're gonna
How much money we need to put Leon in office? Here's the dealio. While I would absolutely love to be a politician, because I am a narcissistic piece of shit, I got way too much skeletons in my closet, bro. Like, I would not handle that level of scrutiny, dog.
You know, like I disagree with Shu and Head on a lot of things. I disagree with Asman
what
on
I've
a bunch
seen.
of things. But the one thing, the most important thing that we should agree on is that these fucking Quangos are gonna fuck everything up. They're gonna send everything into like freaking demon realm if like we don't stop them. And it's like that's it basically.
You are my friend. I don't heal you.
Yo, based Naruto reference at the end of there. That was an excellent video. I mean, again, first of all, here's the link. Make sure you give it a like, a sub, the whole nine. You cannot, and the whole video was just a long, roundabout way of saying that every single time the right seeds any sort of cultural battleground, which Matt Walsh and his ilk are infinitely guilty of, then you are just breeding a generation of potential leftists. Like, you don't even need the brainwashing in public schools and whatnot from these leftist teachers. Just seeding cultural battleground is enough. That alone is enough to cause a failure. Shippuden is not a great anime. Shippuden sucks. OG Naruto is great. The music of Shippuden is good, though. Anyway, yeah, and that is the reason we are in these dire straits. We're in these dire straits because so much of the Christian conservative thought leaders weren't enough of a Charlie Kirk because they were hardline dismissive of cultural issues. That being said, we got about another hour and 10 minutes, give or take, of stream time. but I really gotta take a piss and also turn on the AC. So you guys are gonna need a chair stream for a minute, and then we're gonna react to Asmongold talking about how we beat the trannies. You gotta talk about Asmongold and how we beat the trannies, but first I gotta piss and turn on the AC. Chair stream, I'll be right back. Ah, there we go. Perfect. Hopefully it'll get nice and cool in the room now. To be fair, it's my fault for wearing a fucking sweater and beanie. But I ain't washed my fucking hair. So Leona is gay, 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 gay. Dresses in rainbow shirts when he plays. I don't know if there's supposed to be an actual cadence to that or not, but there you go. Chair spin. Whee! Naruto anime was awful. He's not as bad as One Piece. Alright, so ban Tiger King because he's a moron. Alright. Let's do it. We actually won. Let's go.
It looks like the gender transition for kids stuff is basically over. It's over. We won. The New York Times, the ideological compass of the party organ of the Western liberal world, is now ringing the bell for the very movement it once championed. The American Medical Association is backpedaling. A jury just awarded $2 million to a survivor of this barbarism.
Which we covered on stream. The fact that by the way, this has been in New York, not just any jury, a New York jury awarded a detransitioner $2 million for medical malpractice. Based.
Like that word. The wall of consensus is crumbling, and now everyone can see the bricks were hollow. That's a good one. I like that. That's a very good one. I'm gonna follow this guy. And anyway, Towers do a video about New Jersey got taken down. I know that. And then this.
No, the liberals did not pull their heads out of their asses for 2 seconds. No. Don't they? The liberals are still absolutely the vile, evil, disgusting pro-mutilation of children party. But at least some individuals in the media apparatus have the mental wherewithal to try and curtail such radical speech because it is a losing issue with the masses.
Patreon got canceled. And so anyway, medical associations trusted belief over science on youth gender care. Gentlemen, it's obvious. It's been obvious. Everybody that wasn't retarded knew this. But for some reason, some people out there were like, well, no, not necessarily. Well, if you look at them, they're the experts. And, you know, these people, they have a degree in this. And there's no way that all these people that have college degrees just got together and are fucking retarded.
If you have a college degree in something that is not STEM or some sort of trade, I inherently just believe you're retarded. I do. If your college degree is not in something STEM or trade related, my default belief is that you're retarded. Absolutely.
There's no way that could happen. And so, anyway, I've had to deal and listen with this bullshit for fucking years, right? And this is the problem is that,
Oh, you didn't say they weren't evil, just that maybe they saw the tranny issues hurting their poll numbers. In that regard, yes. Yeah, at least enough of these leftist cretins saw that the tranny issue specifically was hurting their poll numbers, yes.
And here's the other big issue is that a lot of people, oh, and here we have this one too. This is what I was looking for. And guess he's back in. Yes, exactly. Our Cheezer allegation is true. I don't even know who Cheezer is. I mean, I do know who Cheezer is. He's a kick streamer, but I don't know even what the allegations are. And anyway, so I think that we need to realize here's something that I feel like we need to just come to a acceptance on. 99% of soft science, if you wiped history clean, would never be reinvented even remotely the same.
Like psychology. Like psychology. Soft science. Absolutely a soft science.
As it is now. Every single piece of hard science, if you wiped history clean and you started a clean slate, would be recreated exactly the same as it is now. It's because one of them is real and the other one really isn't. They're just generalities.
What about history? You have to be more specific, Fabs. So I know what you mean when you say, what about history?
It's important to keep that in mind. We wouldn't be reinventing this stuff if we, reset civilization or history at all. The science can't be replicated. Yeah, because there is no science. So there have been a lot of people who are, cosplaying as scientists who are, pretending like their positions on these topics were legitimate because they had a degree. Now, a lot of people, and this is a problem.
No. It's even worse than that. I mean, what Asmongold is saying isn't necessarily wrong, but it's even worse. It's not only that they're cosplaying as scientists, and that their opinion is valid because of a degree. This right here, baby. This right here. The money. You have all of these politically funded think tanks that are paying these scientists, regardless of whether the medical industry or the science actually goes along with what they're saying or not, to hold these opinions and craft these theories and opinions as if they're fact to force a social and ideological cultural change. The cosplaying as a scientist actually means nothing because there has to be something to back it. That degree is just a piece of paper. That doesn't back anything. The money is the actual physical, corporeal aspect that actually backs it.
Is that a lot of stupid Redditors, especially, and people with a Reddit mentality, like those people, the moment that they hear a person in a lab coat tell them what's right, they just...
Well, no, you say it depends on whether they're trying to rewrite history. He's talking about if modern society was wiped. Talking about if modern... Like, for example, there are beliefs right now that we are not the first advanced civilization. Right? Which I believe, by the way. We are not the first advanced civilization. That we are from down a line of advanced civilizations. There was at least one other civilization before us back in prior to the Younger Dryas period over 10,000 years ago. There were probably others before that, but that's neither here nor there. So when he's talking about a clean wipe, he means that. Completely clean. Oh, you're talking about history degrees. I especially mean history degrees. Especially mean history degrees. Now, to be fair, I'm biased, and this is completely anecdotal. That was what my ex-wife had. My ex-wife had a master's degree in history, with her main focal point being Egyptian, Sumerian, and Greek history. Her secondary focal point being early revolutionary American history. So, and she was wrong about so much in that regard. Atlantis? Yes, I believe in Atlantis, 100%. Like not the degree of the way it's portrayed in like the Disney film or whatnot, but yes, there was an Atlantis or an Atlantis-like civilization pre-Younger Dryas that was just as advanced, if not more advanced than what we're at now, and they had found different ways of harnessing energy and things to that effect. Absolutely.
blindly follow it because, you know, again, they have this obsession with reaffirming authority, and they think that...
Yeah, you're correct. Not every historian is biased. You're absolutely correct. But if you're going to be a historian, if you get a degree in history, right? If you get a degree in history, you don't have a whole lot of job options. Your job options boil down to author, teacher, working in a museum, or college professor. And oftentimes, you're usually a couple of those four together. If you're a teacher, you're also writing books. If you're a college professor, you're writing books. If you're a curator in a museum, you're writing books, or you're also a college professor part-time. So there's some crossover. Point is, you don't have a lot of job options. So if somebody comes to you and says, yo, we're going to fund all your research, we're going to fund all your field studies, we're going to fund all your books, the whole nine, we're going to give you all that money. But here's the caveats when we need to talk to you, what you need to talk about, here's what you need to say. Here's 10 milli to do so. It's a whole lot easier to corrupt somebody that has less job opportunity than somebody who has more job opportunity. Which is why historians are very much... They're very easy to disbelieve purely based on their credentials because they're going to be some of the easiest to break from a financial standpoint.
Authority can never be wrong, authority can never be misused, authority can never be misled, and authority can never be held by a person with bad intentions. And so it's midwit. Yeah, it's a midwit mentality, right? Because, like, really stupid people are like, well, you can't give me that vaccine. What if it's got, like, a tracker in it? You know? What if it got that? Well, I don't know what it does. Like, you just came up with that? Didn't it take a long time like polio? You know, and then you got the smart people that are like, well, you know, I don't want to take it yet. You know, I'm not sure what the long-term effects are. I mean, who knows? You know, I want to, you know, I'm healthy. I'm just going to take other best practices. And both sides is one of those things where really dumb people and smart people, I think, come to the same consensus, whereas, you know, people that are in the middle get misled. And I think that's generally what happens, right? And I think, yeah,
bro, pure bloods rise up. Shout out, proudly unvaxxed, baby.
The bell curve, exactly, yeah. And is there a there is a replicability?
Well, so history teachers in like high school and whatnot, if that's what you're referring to, they're less likely to be part of this conglomerate machine of misinformation historically, at least intentionally so, because most big, evil, shadowy entities that are going to try and pay you off to give bad, you know, to give bad test results and bad studies aren't operating at that level.
Replicability. I've never said that word before. There's a replicability crisis currently in psychology, further boosting your point. Well, that's because the majority of psychology is fan fiction. That's the
He is exactly correct. Psychology is one of the ultimate soft sciences.
Reason why. And, you know, these people, they invent, basically, here's what happens, is that a council of Karens gets together with fake degrees, and they agree with each other about the way that things are. And then they write a book, and they quote each other, and then they turn that into the way that things are. This is what's been going on for the last...
It is a feedback loop of misinformation. If one person writes a study, another person writes a study, another person writes a study, and they all peer review each other's studies, and they all come to the same consensus because it was a peer review, even though they all have the exact same ideological bias, doesn't matter. It's now part of the factual zeitgeist because it was peer reviewed and we're supposed to trust the experts.
50 years. It is. And so as soon as you realize that's what's been happening, you can take a step back and see, oh, okay, wait a minute, this is all just bullshit. Wrong idiot. No, I actually, you know what? Listen, we have a lot of things to go over today. And well, let's see here if I can. Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I'm just gonna ban this person. We could get in an argument, but we're a little bit too early for that. So modern journalism does the same thing. They create a false consensus, and this is the main problem that happens with almost everything, right? is that a false consensus is generated with almost every topic. And what happens is that people basically say something, and then somebody else says something, and then they cross-reference each other, and then they create a established reality of that thing, and then other people, you know, talk about that thing as if it was real. But really, it's just two idiots agreeing with each other. That's really about it. So
and that's why the Sphinx water erosion theory is not taken seriously by modern archaeology, despite the fact that almost every single piece of evidence is actually in favor of it. Like, every piece of actual scientific evidence leans in favor of the Egyptian Sphinx being about 10,000 years old, if not older. However, due to big archaeology, due to these feedback loops, due to these peer-reviewed studies, due to all the money being funneled into the projects in the 1930s, and due to their pride of not being able to admit they're wrong, because, you know, pride, hubris, that shit is evil as fuck, you will never get mainstream scientific consensus that the Sphinx, and possibly also the Great Pyramids, existed in a pre-Younger Dryas era.
Anyway, I don't want to go too far into that. I just want to say, like, right here, the science doesn't seem so settled after all, and it's important to understand what happened here. The approach of left-of-center Americans and our institutions to assume that when a scientific organization releases a policy statement...
Yeah, so the Sphinx, it definitely used to be something different. The face that's on the Sphinx now was a reconstruction or a recarving or an alteration of some sort to what its original face was. Yes.
On a hot button issue that the policy statement must be accurate is deeply naive to understanding of science, human nature, and politics and how they interact. This is actually one of the most based articles. This is amazing. I am so happy to see this. And you're seeing a lot of people that are angry about this too, right? Because now...
We gotta check on Nyara. We gotta check on that Nyara person. That Nyara creature. Has it posted about this? Oh, I called it 4 minutes ago, baby! Trans people being forcibly detransitioned, our healthcare is being criminalized, our suicides are being celebrated. Meanwhile, gender dysphoria is being alleviated through gender-affirming care and supportive, a supportive environment is the only treatment. Hold on, crew. Hold on. Fuck this groomer. Fuck this groomer. Knew this bitch was gonna have a crash out. Knew this absolute fucking loser, this creature, this demonic gremlin was gonna be having a crash out. Oh, you'll love to see it.
Now, you know, now we're seeing people finally, you know, there's like, they're breaking the conditioning, right? I think that's generally what's happening more than anything. This is a 9/11 to trust the science crowd. Well, this is what I was saying, right? Is that, like, trust the science. How can you trust the science if you think men should compete against women in sports, right? I mean, you obviously don't care about science. If you did, you wouldn't be saying that. Like, no reasonable, rational person thinks that men should be competing against women in sports, right? Like, the only people that say that are people that are afraid of blowback and also people that are retarded. That's literally it.
For example, Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is both.
Now, here's what we need to do.
Did y'all see Bill Maher just straight up end his podcast episode with Neil deGrasse Tyson because Neil deGrasse Tyson kept trying to push this ideology like a week ago? Like, literally a week ago, Neil deGrasse Tyson was on Bill Maher's Club Random podcast and was trying to push this dumbass narrative. And Bill got so fucking annoyed with it, he just ended the show. I saw a video about Resident Evil from Endymion. Yeah, I have that in my watch later list. I'm not gonna react to it until after I beat Resident Evil, it comes out at 11 p.m. tonight. So I'm gonna try and beat it tonight, or worst case tomorrow, and then I'll probably react to it. We'll probably react to it tomorrow.
Next
Yeah, Endymion.
Now that we've
Endymion is a fucking idiot. Endymion is an actual grifter. I know that he and I's audience have some crossover and whatnot, and that's fine. If you guys want to watch him, that's totally. I don't care. Watch anyone, everyone. You don't only gotta take my opinions for gospel, 100%. But it has been my experience. Endymion is an actual straight up grifter. He is a cancer to this space, in my opinion.
That the youth gender care and, you know, like sex changes for children, and people saying this didn't happen, here's the numbers of how many of them it happened with. Here we go. Let's listen to it.
And the statistics are just staggering. 5,747 children underwent.
5,000.
Do I plan on streaming it? Likely not my first playthrough. Likely not my first playthrough. And here's my thoughts as to why. I'm not going to be streaming my first playthrough of Resident Evil 9. Because if I want to come up with it, because mind you, I'm already very, very apprehensive would be the nicest way to say it about this game. I'm very apprehensive about Resident Evil 9. If I'm going to if I'm going to go in with the most charitable, good faith way that I could play this game and give an actual review and not just confirm my own biases, I need to focus on the game itself and not focus on entertaining an audience. Like, as much as I love streaming with you guys, and as much as I love giving my opinions, and it's so fun to do, if I am focused on putting on a show and entertaining you guys and having this sort of fun interaction, it will, in some way, shape, or form, distract me from focusing in on the game, on the story, the interactions, all that. And I don't want to miss anything. Because, I mean, I claim to effectively be an arbiter of the sanctity of Resident Evil. I am very, very protective and very biased over Resident Evil. And so, I think to give the game the honest review it deserves, regardless of which direction it ends up going, I need to be just completely solo and locked in. Junebug loves you for a 5-banger. Him and Razorfist gripped and went after KCD dev who have no reason for lying about the dev. Don't trust them anymore. Agreed. Him and Razorfist are amongst a myriad of other individuals who I consider part of the problem. Absolutely.
People. 5,747 children.
Surgical mutilation, according to the Stop the Harm database. 13,994 minors underwent sex change treatments. 8,579 received hormones.
And to follow up, I might do a live stream of my second playthrough, though. If I do decide to do a second playthrough, I will probably live stream that one.
Puberty blockers. More than 62,000 sex change prescriptions written for children.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just staggering, Congressman.
It is truly medicalized child abuse. And people sometimes ask, where were the parents? Well, I think many...
And by the way, this should not be a controversial opinion, that the transgender stuff is weaponized child abuse, because I would make the same argument for the overdiagnosis of autism and ADHD. Overdiagnosis of autism and ADHD, and especially overprescription of ADHD and ADD medication, should also be labeled as medical child abuse. I think that, now, I do believe that ADD and ADHD are likely real, but I also think that they are far, far, far more rare than than is attributed. Medicating kids basically just to zen them out and changing their personalities to that of a zombie because you don't want to deal with them should be the exact same kind of medical child abuse as transing your kids. 100%.
Many children will tell you this story, and I think Chloe would tell you this story, that many times parents were coerced. They were told that if they don't go along with transitioning their kids,
they might lose custody of their kids.
Their child will commit suicide. Would you rather have a live
Oh
son?
yeah, there's that too.
Or a dead daughter? I can think of nothing more inappropriate, nothing more unethical than that kind of coercion.
Yep, and it was all built on a lie. So here's what has to happen, okay? Is that now that we've established that this is happening, and we know the people that it's happened to, every medical procedure has documentation. Every single surgeon, every doctor, every person that pushed this on children needs to be held accountable. And they need to be held criminally accountable. Because this is what
the good on Lagan says, I have ADHD and ADD. So do I, apparently. That's what the doc said to my mom, and that's what I was told when I was in, 3rd grade. I'm diagnosed ADHD. In fact, I'm diagnosed ADHD, OCD, and dyslexic. I'm diagnosed all 3. Do I believe it? Do I trust it? No, I don't know. Just because I'm diagnosed doesn't actually mean it's real. The medical industry could have just wanted to create a customer for life. My mom got the diagnosis, but she didn't fucking care. I never took any meds. She never gave me any meds. I've never taken ADHD medication in my life. Fuck you, Hypno. Fuck, Hypno says accurate diagnosis. Fuck you. Yo, shout out to Kata for the raid. Shorty raid. Shout out, Kata. What up, homie? I appreciate you, brother. I absolutely appreciate you. Absolute legend. Short King raid.
These people did. You have to put them in jail. And retroactively, everybody knew this was wrong. We all knew this was wrong. There's nobody out there that thinks that, oh, well, we weren't really sure about this. It could have gone either way.
These surgeries are modern-day lobotomies. Absolutely. Agreed, Mervoth. Shout out. Thank you for the 2-banger. 100%.
Way, every rational, normal person.
And yes, the Gurren Lagann guy. I have seen Gurren Lagann.
It's like the Nuremberg trials. And these people are nowhere near Nazis. Don't get this wrong. But it's the concept of, I was just following.
No. I disagree. He says they're nowhere near Nazis. They are far more Nazi-esque than we ever were, than they ever claimed we were. The absolute Nazi-esque tactics. They want the socialized, they want the socialized industry, the socialized government. They want to deperson you. They want to debank you. They want to mutilate individuals. They want to mutilate these children. There is actually they are openly racist and use that racism as part of their political platform, as we discussed with the Gavin Newsom stuff just yesterday. I actually vehemently disagree with Asmongold here. Now, they aren't Nazis. I'm not going to call them Nazis like they call us, because by technicality, they're not. But when he says they're not close to Nazis, I full disagree. They absolutely are, at least comparatively, far closer to Nazis.
Orders. That's nice. No, turn around and face the wall. I don't think we should shoot him. But I think it should be really bad. I think that it should be so bad for these.
You have to make it for a 2-banger. How they diagnose all that and miss the gayness. It was the early 2000s. It was the late 90s. I was young.
People. That there is a page
homie.
of this in the history book that is discussed in 100 years. That's my outlook on it. I think we need to go that far. And if we go that far, it's not going to happen again. 2 to 3 years Dagestan? Yeah, exactly, right? That should have been the real solution. And so lose their license? No, we can't lose their license, and then they go on a book tour talking about how they're a fucking victim. Oh, no. You want to...
Now, that book tour will be worthless if they all lose their license. Losing their license is only special if it's one person. Maybe 2 or 3 people. 5,747 children underwent surgical mutilation. That means that is up to potentially 5,747 doctors that perform these surgeries. If 5,747 doctors lose their license, there ain't no book tour there. Because there's nothing special about it. It becomes the norm. Yes, lose the license.
To be a victim, good. We'll make you earn it. I think you go to prison. All of these people send these...
to be fair, that's better. Never mind. I take it. Because, yeah, prison is even fucking better for these monsters.
Fucking people to prison, send them to prison, charge them with other types of child molestation, and then let the prisoners there deal with them. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We all know what's going to happen. And it's going to be great. And that's it. And so anyway, crucify him literally? Well, we won't need to. We can outsource that to the prisoners that are already there. And this data only goes up to 2023. Yeah, it probably was worse in 2024. And how would you go that far? What's the appropriate punishment in your eyes? I would look at what is the crime.
Ghost of Valhalla, if you want the full breakdown, I've done videos on it. Go to my channel and find the video from a few months ago of me just ending Melanie Mack's whole career. Because I did. I ended her whole career. I'm not saying it was just me. What I am saying is I made my video. This is like 5 months ago. She has not posted on her main channel since. Ever since I dropped my video, Melanie Mack has not posted on her main channel since. I ain't saying it was me, but I did some damage, bro.
Crime of, you know, like mutilating a kid. What can you charge somebody like that with? What is like grooming? What is like, you know, giving kids like, you know, like sexual, you know, any sort of like, what are the crimes and the charges that and you could always invent a new one too, by the way. So like, there's also the possibility that you just invent a new law and then you just apply that to them retroactively. It's pretty simple. And so, stick cut, yeah, you're not seeing the whole picture here. Oh, I unfortunately, I think I am. And so, yeah, really, that's what I would say. I don't think you can charge them retroactively. Why not? Who just...
What do you mean, why not? Charging retroactive, that's how all crimes work, effectively. Like, if a dude abuses a kid and then gets charged for it, he's charged for what he did in the past. You're not charging them retroactively in the sense that, like, because this is how, like, there has to be proof the crime happened. Oh, I guess what they're saying is if it becomes a new law, you can't charge them retroactively. You don't even need to create a new law. Like, Asmongold's right, you can. I don't think you need to. This should just fall under existing child abuse laws. This should absolutely fall under existing child abuse laws.
Decided that you can't do that.
No, she's posting on her second channel, not her main channel. Melanie Mack Go Boom was her main channel. She's posting on her gaming channel. That's her second channel. She's not been on her main channel since, unless it's a very recent upload.
What do you mean you can't? Again, you just do it. Like, there's no, like, again, people not really thinking about this the right way. What do you mean that you can't do something? Of course you can do anything you want. So, yeah, charge them as pedos, maybe, right? And throw the parents in jail, too. Throw the parents in jail. I actually have more empathy for the parents than I do for the doctors and the medical professional.
I don't. I might have more empathy for the fathers, not the moms. Most of this shit was by design. Like, I don't know about most, but a lot of this shit, I have no empathy for at least for the mothers. A lot of the times, the mothers invented this shit. This was some Munchausen's by proxy bullshit. There's many a documented case of a boy, just like a little boy, just being a little bit feminine, and the mom fucking trances him. I have no sympathy. Now, I'm sure every now and again there's some stories and whatnot of dads doing this as well, but by and large, this is a 90%, if I'm being generous, mom issue.
And let me explain the reason why. I think that there are instances where, like, for example, if any of these things were done to a person under the age of 12, I think that, you know, like, consequences for the parents should absolutely be on the table. But I think that also you need to think about it from, like, another perspective, which is the...
All right, to Asmongold's credit, when I was stuff under 12, that is, I would think like 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old kids. That's what I'm thinking.
Parents weren't really the medical professionals. They had no obligation to be informed, educated, and understand the nature of...
Mothers being paid by the government doing it, Leon. I've never seen evidence of that, so I can't say that. I'm not saying it's not true or not real, but I've never seen evidence of it. I don't make claims for something I don't have evidence for.
You know, biology. And so whenever they go to an expert and the expert tells them to do something, they are paying that expert for their expertise. So when the expert with that expertise misuses that, and then they say it's okay, I think the primary focus should be on them. And again, I'm not saying that, you know, none of the parents,
Fab.
right?
Sure did.
But I'm saying that all of the doctors and some of the parents is...
I'll meet Asmongold there for now. I'll meet him there for now. All of the doctors and some of the parents. Mel fucked up so bad she ditched X in her main YouTube. Yeah, she ditched X as well. Absolutely.
Is that reasonable? I think it's reasonable. And so anyway, they got spawn camp.
Thank you for the
yeah,
two banger,
exactly.
by the way. Appreciate you.
See Rupert Lowe's tweets describing undesirable migrants as orcs, saying he'd purge them from the Shire. Did I see Rupert Lowe's tweet that he would purge the orcs from the Shire? Yes, I did. I did. He called them orcs. I saw it. I mean, again, guys.
If you need the lore on that, we covered it in yesterday's stream. Check it out.
Whoa! I love to see it. I love to hear it, man. Me not that kind of orc. It's a different kind of orc, right? And so anyway, yeah, absolutely. People like you created these problems because you refused to play WoW. I did. And the reason why I refused to play WoW is the people that that caused these other problems came into WoW and they caused this issue for me. That like I would have been.
That was how I learned about Asmongold. I had never seen Asmongold's content before in my life. This is before I was a content creator, mind you. It's probably back in 2020, maybe, something like that. And there was this huge, massive shakeup with this woke infestation of World of Warcraft. And Asmongold spoke out about it then. And mind you, this is back when he was still an ardent lefty, bro. He was still an ardent lefty. And even then, he was speaking out about it. That's how I learned who Asmongold even was when the Wokies came for WoW. A game I didn't even play at the time.
A happy boy, I'd probably still be, I'd probably still be farming achievements, playing World of Warcraft, but they had to make the game for chicks. They did. They had to make the game for girls and weirdos. And sissy boys, right? I mean, like, yeah, everything was totally fine. There were no issues at all. And then they ruined it. They ruined it. Yeah, John Lick lost his dog. You lost WoW. I did. I lost WoW. Like, everything in Warlords of Draenor, everything was great. In Wrath of the Lich King, everything was great. Then, after Legion, things got bad. Even during Legion, things began to get bad. But really, after that was the real problem, right? They took my WoW. Gamergate's what woke me up to this. Yeah, well, it's because really, I think that a lot of people, this is the outlook that a lot of people had. And this is at least my outlook. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, is that, like, from my perspective, I don't really care what's going on in a lot of political stuff, right? In like a general, like on a personal sense, really. Like, I care about it, but like if I can just go and play video games, I can avoid these topics and I can just focus on something that I would rather do. Like most days when I take the day off, yeah, I'll think about politics, I'll be involved with it, but I'm not going to like really, really care about it in the same way that, you know, like let's say, you know, somebody that actually gets involved in it in.
I kind of agree and kind of disagree here. I can separate the two when I need to, but I still actively can. And to be fair, I've been a political hound for many, many, many years. So like if I take a day off, if it's Sunday or whatever, and I'm not doing a Sunday special stream, then yes, I'll just play video games, watch anime, whatever, and keep the politics stuff to the side of my noggin. I don't really care. In that moment, I don't care because I'm not thinking, but that doesn't mean I don't actually, in the grand scheme, still care. So, I would still want to be actively involved. I would still, like, on a day off, I'll still read the news. I'll still see what's going on. I'll still keep up to date. I just won't necessarily comment on it or make content on it. But I still try and stay daily informed. But you also need to have that time to take a break from it, lest you drive yourself fucking nutso. Like, if I've spent 6 days in a row covering the Epstein files and the wokeification of gaming and what, you know, what these dumb liberal pro-tranny mutilation of children folk are saying on X, that 7th day off, man, I just might want to kick back and play me some games, bro. Kick back and play me some games.
And so
Catch you later,
the problem is that, you know, these people, they took their politics and they put them inside of games. They put them inside of media. They put them inside of stories. And they said, you can't escape. You can't get away from us. You thought that you could have your safe space. Well, it's not safe anymore. Now we're here too, and we're going to change your characters. We're going to make characters gay. We're going to add in transgender characters. We're going to make one-dimensional...
We're gonna ban you for saying what you think so that you can't even play your game anymore. You're gonna get a permaban because you used terminology that just 5 years ago was A-OK and now is subjectively offensive to these people who don't actually even play the game, and they're just gonna move on when the next new shiny toy comes out.
You know, like fucking, what do you call it? Like fucking disabled people in video games, like Khadgar in a wheelchair. And they've put this bullshit in video
Banned for teabagging, exactly, Fab. Banned for teabagging.
games. We're going to take away male and female. We're going to put body type 1 and 2. No, you're not. That's enough. Okay, that's it. We're done. I'm done. Absolutely not. And now I think that there are a lot of young guys who were able to escape into video games to avoid the annoying people like that in the world. But then the annoying people in the world that you're escaping from made their way into video games. And they started making the video games. And now we have to, we have to deport every single migrant. That's just what happens.
If Anita Sarkeesian and Zoe Quinn hadn't fucked up in 2014, Alex Preddy would still be alive. That's the bitch of the bunch, baby. If Anita Sarkeesian hadn't been a dumb slut, if Zoe Quinn hadn't been a fucking attention-farming whore, Alex Preddy and Renee Good would still be alive. It's on you, bitches!
We have to take away people's citizenship. We have to put people in jail and by the millions. This is just what happened. And none of this ever had to happen. I want to make this very clear. None of this ever had to happen. If you had just left people like me alone...
Why our problems require why solutions? Holy shit, that is fucking awesome! You might have just won non-super chat comment of the day, my friend.
We would have never done this. Everything was totally fine. Everything was okay. But now, containment has been breached. And you've got a million fucking chuds that are like, well, what do you mean I can't have a girl with big tits in my game? What the fuck? They're like, you know what? Yeah, I don't like any of them either. Get up.
It's an Arch quote. I just goes to show I don't really watch Arch's content.
the fuck out of here. What the hell are they doing in my country? What the hell you mean you think, oh, you want to change gender, huh? Not anymore. And that's it. The woke's dug too deep. Exactly. And so this is, and I think that we should embrace this. We have all been conscripted into this conflict, and I think none of us really wanted to be a part of it. And on the days that I take off, I didn't even watch the State of the Union. I didn't even watch it. I was jerking off and playing video games. But I do want you guys to see this with these gender transitions, because you remember how many people said that nobody is transing kids, nobody is having kids going under, sex changes. 62,000 kids for sex change hormones were given to children. This has to stop, and there has to be accountability for the doctors that did it. And I think that now, after that first case was won from that detransitioner, now you're going to start seeing this happen a lot more. And you also have...
I want to put that number into perspective. City I live in has got like 230,000 people or something like that. I live in a city of about 230,000 people. Give or take. That is effectively 1/6 of the imagine if this city's entire population was children. 1/6 would have been on some sort of gender tranny hormone medicine. 1/6 of all children in my city would have been on that.
Have also,
That's
very clearly
fucking
Reddit
nuts.
is not happy. So total detransitioner death. There is a huge issue that I think the trans community has with the...
Yes, the huge issue they have is not knowing what fucking gender they are. That's the huge issue. Everything else is subsequent issues.
The fixation around killing people. There is an obvious and deliberate fixation that a small subset of the trans community has around any type of a disagreement is let's kill these people. How many trans memes have you seen that the punchline is that somebody gets killed? I actually saw a joke about.
Yeah, one of those memes, the punchline actually came true.
This. Here we go. Let's take a look at it. So this is the clip. This is the original clip, then we're going to watch the context.
I think we should start killing kids until they let us use whatever bathroom they want. I think we should...
So, people said, no, guys. Guys, it's out of context. Let's hear the context.
I think that's true. I think that, like, we've experienced the last, like, handful of years where trans people have tried to get our acceptance by being nice, being accessible, being the kind of person that you would be comfortable with, you know, having babysitting your kids or whatever.
Let us near your kids or we're going to kill you.
You want to know the problem with this? There's a major problem with this. Normally, I'd say helicopter rides. Free helicopter ride. Helicopter wouldn't be able to take off with this fat fuck loaded inside. We can't even give transgender Michael Moore a fucking helicopter ride because he's the size of a goddamn Shamu.
Y'all need to get this shit out of your... If you're a normal trans...
I did not even see your comment calling him Michael Moore when I said that, Mr. Rich. Bro, parallel thinking.
Trans person, you need to get these freaks out of your community. You do. There needs to be more trans people that openly say, this person is a fucking idiot, this person is a psycho, and they do not represent me or the community. Normal trans? Yeah, I mean, listen, even if you think trans isn't normal, just being trans and being this... That's a huge fucking difference, isn't it? That's a massive fucking difference. Like, there's people that just want to dress up and pretend to be another fucking gender, and then there's people that want to do that, and if you disagree with them, they want to kill all the kids. That's a big fucking difference, guys. Huge fucking difference.
I think we should start killing kids.
This is the logic.
Until they let us use whatever bathroom they want.
And here's the thing, man. I love dark humor. You know how many dead kid jokes I made? I fucking love jokes about killing kids, bro. It's funny as shit. I don't like video games that have NPCs in it that are kids and you can't kill them. I mean this. Like, you can kill all the adult NPCs in fucking Fallout 3, but you go to Little Lamplighter and you can't plug them little bastards in the face. That breaks immersion. I don't like that. You should be able to kill the kids. But the difference is, when I say it, it's obviously a fucking joke. When these motherfuckers say it, you don't know if it's a joke, and based on the way they act, it likely isn't.
Wow.
Are there any cis people here? Would you raise your hand, please? Hey, sir, how many kids would you kill for trans rights?
Uh-huh.
Hundreds. Give it up for him, everybody.
Man, how about that? And so anyway, this is their joke. Yeah, and there have been so many instances of these people doing this. Total detransition or death. Female to male to female detransitioners are some of the weakest, stupidest people that have ever existed. I despise them deeply for their cowardice that oozes out of every single one of them. Because of people like them, trans boys aren't getting proper health care so that female puberty doesn't deform them. I hate cis people because they are hateful and evil. So, I just got finished injecting... Oh, here we go. I just got finished injecting gray market testosterone into my thigh, after I bought, with needles that I bought with my own money, right after being dropped off in my dorm by my extremely transphobic father, whom I'm hiding my transition from. Do cis people think that we do shit like this because we find it funny? That we should be forced off of the hormones and then we'll be fine? That we're addicts or something like that? They're demented and I hate them. This woman should have lost all of her money and they should have filed bankruptcy to deal with it. That's what you get for being an idiot. So there you go, guys. And so these people are clowns. Exactly. The gray market government? Well, I have no idea. This is a person who's mentally ill. This is a retard. And so the problem is that a lot of these people have been enabled by society. And this is the result of...
Fuck locking them up. Locking them up means they stay in prison and my tax dollars fund them. That's too good for them. Lock them up? Why? So I can pay for them to continue living? No, I think we just got to pump up that 42%, baby. I'm full Matthew McConaughey. As a rookie numbers, you got to pump those numbers up.
Of that enabling. So here we go. American self-identification as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, something other than heterosexual. It has gone down for the first time in over 10 years. So you're starting to see a lot of people like, and this is the reason why, is that I think it's very obvious that like there are two things that are true. Number one is that a lot of people didn't identify as being part of LGBT because of the negative social stigma that it had at one time. But I think that also on the other side of that, there are other people that identify as LGBT because it has a positive social stigma or a positive social connotation now. So what you're seeing now is people that identify this way because they think that, you know, it'll get people to say that they're brave or that they're good people or some other variation of that. It's trendy. That's right. It's trendy. And so that's what's happened. It's sad they put transgender and homosexual in the same group. Don't compare these people to retards. Retards don't force sex change, kids to sex change. Yeah, I know that. But anyway, so this is it. Americans' views on being gay or lesbian from 1977 to 2025. And you see right here, things were great. Everything was great for gay people. People were very positive about it. And now I think that you're starting to see more and more people realizing that like, oh, this isn't the case. And why is that happening? The reason why it's happening is that you have freak degenerate retards like this that need to be locked up in a mental institution in a padded room in a straitjacket and fed through a tube.
The irony of putting a tranny in a straitjacket. Just gonna let that one sink with you guys.
And you have people like this that are making jokes about killing kids until people tell them that they're a real girl. This person needs to get locked up. That's what needs to happen. Like there's no way that a civilized society can exist with animals like this running around. It's impossible to do. Like you can't have both. Like you might think that you can't because they will ruin it. And so that's it. And also keep in mind that this is the compassionate solution. On most of the world, if they hear this, they throw you off a fucking roof. So
it's almost like I don't want to say the Muslims are right. Kind of like you never want to say Hitler had some good points. But sometimes...
you should probably be counting your blessings that, you know, I'm not advocating for that because that's what happens in most of the world. And so anyway, it's like Homer Simpson address. Well, it's fucking ridiculous. And also it doesn't matter. Again, if you want to live your own life and do what you want, that's totally fine. But the moment that you create a culture around normalizing violence towards people for not accepting what you do, now I think that you've crossed over into another threshold. And that's really the main issue. And you cause road damage? Yeah, sure, right? And yeah, you watching State of the Union address? Well, I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but I'll watch part of it, absolutely. And so, yeah, if they accomplish this change, they won't stop at that? Well, of course they never will. Absolutely not. And I bet a lot of people that identify as LGBTQ just to get DEI quota, and now that DEI is not being put...
No, this dude says, I know people who have done that. I do that. There's a reason that on YouTube, I have my pronouns as non-binary. Because when YouTube introduced pronouns, and I switched myself to being or gender orientation or what the fuck ever. I switched it to non-binary, and I shit you not, almost immediately, my views went up. And I don't mean by a little bit. I saw like a 20% increase in view traffic. YouTube started recommending my videos more after I changed my shit to non-binary. You can't make this shit up.
Push that you'll see a drop. Oh, I think that you're absolutely right about that. I think that the majority of people that do stuff like this are, you know, again, they're doing it to be...
No, Vagabond, you should not tell YouTube you're black if you also tell it you're male. If you're gonna tell YouTube you're black, you also have to change something else. You have to change, you put yourself with they, them, or gay. So, being black ain't good enough anymore. Black is the new white. If you a black dude, you may as well be a fucking straight white dude. I know we were supposed to hate each other because, you know, like you're black and I'm white and you're kind of filthy and disgusting and don't know how to handle money and should be in chains and stuff. That's what they think that we think. But you are basically a white guy now. So you need to change something else.
Trendy, and I think that's the reason why a lot of, like, you know, for example, like the Munchausen by proxies type stuff, like every single time that I see like a 7-year-old trans person, like a trans kid, the odds are that, you know who's with them? The mother. The mother is with them, and they use...
I told YouTube I was non-binary, not trans. I couldn't, like, as much as I wanted to for the grift, I couldn't put the trans down there, even just for the grift. I had to, like, okay, I'll go non-binary.
Their kids effectively as social currency. They, you know, like have their kids go through transition so they can feel like they're part of this community and they're, you know, like it's like a virtuous thing for them. It's the mother, exactly. And so, yeah, just remember, healthcare means cutting off dicks and leaving alone kids. Yes, definitely. 7-year-old trans, are you fucking kidding me? So there was one yesterday that we saw, and the parent said that they knew the kid was trans before the kid knew that they were trans.
And this isn't uncommon. Or at least not as uncommon as it should be, because it should be 0.
So that's it. And what is this?
Please ask for the science-based regimens, not whatever RFK Jr. is getting kickbacks on, or, you know, whatever whole milk, white supremacy, dog whistling that's happening right now. I'm getting a little
say the buzzwords. Say the buzzwords, bozo. Say them.
Regimens, not
oh
whatever.
My God. Yep, there it is. It's, yes, whole milk is now white supremacy, guys. Can you believe that?
Nah, this has been a thing for a while. It's been a thing for a while. Milk is racist. What was this article from? I think it was like 2016. Let's see if I can find it. 2018. Why is milk being called a white supremacist symbol? Here's the one, the HuffPo. The HuffPo. This is the one I was thinking of. Oh, don't tell me you ain't gonna load, motherfucker. Don't tell me you ain't gonna load. Oh, they tried. Okay, here it is. Here it is. All right, so yeah, sorry, 2018. The troubling link between milk and racism. December 6th, 2018. This isn't satire. This is from HuffPo. This is from Pacific Standard.
Oh my fucking God. It's called Munchausen syndrome or proxy to it this time. Yeah, I think that the reason why these people have a lot of trans kids is Munchausen by proxy. I think that's it. And doesn't Megan Fox have 3 to 4 trans kids? Yeah, she does. And so I wonder why. And it's pretty fucking obvious.
Yep, that's that. That's that. Cultural victory, baby. Obviously, the war is not won. Obviously, the war isn't won. But by God, it's a W. It is a W in the battle. There's the video. Just put it in chat. Legendary. Alrighty, crew. We're going to wrap it up here. We've been going about 4 hours. I don't really have enough time to do any other things I want to do. I got to take care of stuff before I'm on home my DualShock. But before we go, I want to remind all of y'all, we are doing the Discord watch party tonight, baby. Discord watch party. If you were in the Discord, because who knows how much longer that'll be around, we're watching Porky's. Never seen Porky's. We are doing Porky's tonight in the Discord. It will likely be around 10 o'clock p.m., give or take. 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you check it. Yes, Central Standard Time. We're going to watch Porky's. It's going to be a blast. I want to see all y'all there. We're going to raid into my boy, Digital Soul Spark. Make sure you give him a shout out. Give him, tell him Vital Idol Raid. Give him a like, the whole 9. Yeah, Fab will be there. You'll love to see it. Guys, it's been a legendary stream. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who donated. Y'all are fucking bananas. It's awesome. I will see you tomorrow for Neon Leon. I'll be playing Resident Evil 9 all night. We'll find out if it's actually dog shit. Junebug loves you for a 5-banger. One day, another of my movie will be picked, and y'all will cry again. You evil, man. You evil. Alright, crew. We wrapping it up. We're going to raid my boy, Jazz and Spark. Make sure to say Vital Idol Raid in the chat. I'll see you tonight for the watch party. And until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. Oh, and I will be on Hold My DualShock tonight. Make sure you join us for Hold My DualShock Fan Rant Thursday. Until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.